And we're live. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I am Alex, and boy, we got a special live stream for you today. I mean, there's too many to even almost count of Hogwarts Legacy creators here. I can only count, so high. But I'm going to let them all introduce each other, themselves. All of their links are in the description. So if any of these seem foreign to you, any of these people, you don't know, all their links, just click on their name in the description. It'll take you right to their channel. Awesome people that, I think are going to make this stream very, very special. So if you guys want to start just, where we're kind of mirrored. So going just over and then down and then just, let people know who you are, where they could find you, what you do. Like, I guess if you specialize in a Hogwarts Legacy specific thing, and then we'll just start. We'll take comments. We'll take questions. If you guys do super chats, obviously that goes to the front of the list, but we'll just talk about the game for as long as you want us to go. So, introduce yourself, everybody.
So I am Hogwarts Legacy Explained, also known as Connor, from the UK. I specialise in guessing. I've got a series called Hogwarts Legacy Talk, where I talk about features that could be in the game from my comment section, people suggesting things they want to see, also news. And I guess I also do what I'm also known for is the long-form walkthroughs of all the Harry Potter games, from the PS1 to the PC, Game Boys, 100% of them. So yeah, come check me out if you want to see some of them. They are really fun, but also long. But yeah, I guess that's what I do. And yeah, I'm pumped for Hogwarts Legacy, of course. So yeah, come check me out if you like.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm the Nightly Nerd. My name's Nate. That we were actually just talking. This is the first time I've actually said that to anybody. I do a lot of Hogwarts Legacy content. I made my channel specifically as a passion project to talk about things I liked, and Hogwarts Legacy was just really the first thing that I wanted to talk about. God of War, obviously. I'm into Pokemon, things like that. But I am over on Twitter at nightly_nerd and over on YouTube, obviously.
Come down to me. Hello. I'm Prof. Lynette. I do Wizard PhD things on the internet. So I started actually as a Wizards Unite content creator. So I've been doing this for a couple of years, and then they shut the game down. So now I'm all in hyped for Hogwarts Legacy. I do a couple of different live streams. One is just a weekly, if you get or have trouble getting started on Monday mornings, or for me, it's Monday morning, I got you with some Hogwarts Legacy news recaps, and it's fun times. But I also do a weekly podcast where my husband and I reread the Harry Potter series one chapter at a time, and we just dive deep into Wizarding World lore and all that stuff. I do, just the variety of things of game update videos. Occasionally there will be some sort of theory video. And I like to make funny shorts. Lately, it's been about how I see the Hogwarts Legacy flame all over my town in real life. So I like just to have fun with the Wizarding world in general. So you can check me out on YouTube. I'm primarily on Twitter for social media. Sometimes I post on TikTok and Instagram, but you can find me there.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Last Marauder. I'm a UK-based content creator based around Harry Potter. I try to cover most things Wizarding World, so I do a bit of theories, the films. Obviously, the game is the main thing that I do. One of the things that I sort of like to cover most of all in my videos is trailer breakdowns, and I just go frame by frame and see what sequels I can find.
Okay, I'm Lamorak. I these days do like breakdown stuff, and then yeah, that's mostly it these days. And so, yeah, I'm Lamorak. Was gone on Twitter, and then obviously on YouTube as well.
Excellent. Well, welcome in, everybody, and thank you all for being here. I mean, you guys are honestly really, really great people, great content creators, and as we've said, really with everybody that's in the Wizarding World hemisphere of content creation, we all do things just a little bit different. We all kind of have our own personal strengths that we go after when talking about, I guess, specifically for this stream and stuff, the game. So let's start by kind of where you're at sitting here on November 4th. Game comes out in not that long at all. We're almost there. So how's everybody feeling about it? Whether it's talking about, news or lack of news or whatever, how are you guys feeling about the game as of early November?
Should I go first, gang? Sorry.
I mean, if we want to do different things to keep it interesting, we can.
Yeah,
We
that's
can
fine.
we'll do the same
No,
one
yeah,
again, and then we'll swap.
That's all right. It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in a strange spot. Yeah, I did make a video actually about 3 weeks ago, I believe. You're saying at that time we were getting a lot of news, a lot of information about story ports. You know, the Sebastian Salo story port, the Crucio, and there were a few other parts we were learning a lot about. I was like, are we learning too much about the story now and learning about a few and the DLC? Well, for the PlayStation, you have the exclusive story point there. And we learned a lot about that. I was at a point where I was like, are we learning too much about the story and not enough about certain elements of like gameplay, of how the game runs, things like that. And obviously, it has slowed down a bit now. And like we were saying off air, it feels weird. We're so close now after such a long time waiting. We're in this weird limbo spot where we have got stuff to talk about. It's like, this game's going to be out in 3 months. What do we do then? We're going to be playing it. There's going to be like so much things going on with the game. But yeah, it's really strange to think after almost a year and a half it'll be when the game comes out of waiting. We're 4 months out from actually getting us hands on this amazing game. But yeah, I feel like a few weeks ago, at the rate we was going, I was a bit concerned about learning too much. I'm one of those people who like to go into a game quite blind, which is hard when you cover a game so extensively and it's your whole YouTube channel. But yeah, I'd like to see a bit more about how some gameplay features, a bit more gameplay now, 2 or 3 minute trailer or something. But yeah, I think we're in a good spot going into like the Christmas period. I think we'll learn a few more things because obviously Harry Potter is renowned for its Christmas period. I think, in every film bar Deathly Hallows and the book, Christmas was such a huge period. So I'm guessing we'll learn a few stuff then as well.
First Harry Potter movie is the best Christmas movie there is.
Hot take.
Yeah, it is one of the hottest takes I have. It's the best Christmas movie. Yeah, I think I'm in a really weird spot with Hogwarts Legacy because of all the games coming out. And I know, Alex, you've talked about the few months that are coming up. There's probably 10, 15 games that are coming out that, can overshadow Hogwarts Legacy. But I do want to applaud WB for the marketing that they've had for this game is incredible. I mean, they put out little tweets here and there, Thursdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and everybody jumps on it.
Yeah.
So I think they just need to keep up the hype. Like Hogwarts Legacy Explained said, I think they need to show us a little bit of gameplay. I think we need to see that. But other than that, I think I'm in a good spot.
Nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I love story in game. I love narrative. And I think in part because Harry Potter is a series. It's a book series that I think that's kind of my first entry point into it. And so I've been loving all of the little drops and being like, okay, what is Sebastian's deal? Like, I need to know everything about your family and get all the secrets that I can. So I love the little drops, but I'm also in this spot where I'm like, okay, can you not tell me? Like you were saying, like, I don't want to know any more of the story. I just kind of want to dive deep and talk to all the NPCs. Like, let me just do it, even though I know we're still months away. So it's kind of this anticipation that I'm so antsy right now that I don't even want promo. I just want the game itself. So that's been interesting. I also do a lot of variety streaming, so I'm getting excited for like games coming out. Also, Nightly Nerd, you were mentioning that. So I haven't really actually done this where I have a game and I stick with it for extended periods of time. So like even with Skyrim, I'm very kind of like all over the place with it where like I'll binge it for a little bit, then I put it away and never see it for a few months. And it's like, oh yeah, maybe I should go dive deep back into it. I've never actually finished Skyrim, the main story. So that's just like my gaming like style, I guess, is I just get distracted and I like to play. There's so many games that exist that I just want to play them all. So it'll be interesting to see how well I can adjust to just diving into Hogwarts Legacy. And that's all that I do. So we'll see how that happens in February. But I'm in like this lull position where it's just like, I don't know, I just want it now. But at the same time, I'd rather play all the other games because this is the last chance that I'm going to have, I guess, until February when I'm like really hitting the ground running with it.
Yeah. I I literally can't wait. I'm so excited for the game still. It's just I've literally got a week booked off just to play it. So my day job. So I've just booked like a week off just so I can sit there and play it. And I've told the wife that she can't expect to see me during that week. So I'm gonna be committed. But yeah, I literally can't wait. I'm a little bit out of touch with the most recent like releases from like the dev team and all that sort of stuff because I've had to take a short break from YouTube, but I'm back as of next week, hopefully. So yeah, I'm a little bit out of touch at the moment, but I know they announced sort of quite recently there's going to be a gameplay, or it was hinted there's going to be some gameplay being released soon. So I'm just so excited to actually see more of that and just dive into more of that. I'm the same as most of you guys. I don't want to see too much more story because I want to explore it myself. I want to see what it's like myself rather than being told it through trailers. And I think some films have an issue with that when they release their trailers for films and that stuff, and they sort of give away most of the story in the trailer. I don't want that. And obviously, a game is a lot bigger, so there's a lot more story. But
Yeah,
I just can't wait to see some gameplay and just see some more just little snippets. Just even like if it's just like the trailers that we got around the common rooms. They were just incredible. Just seeing the designs that the dev team have done for those. So just see more snippets like that rather than story elements and those sort of things. I can't wait to see more. Just give me more.
Yeah, I feel like they've done a really good job of showing us a lot of like the environments and a lot of the story stuff, but I feel like they could do a lot better job of showing some mechanic type stuff. Because we don't really know what the HUD looks like. We don't know how we're going to switch between spells.
yeah.
We don't really know any of that. I feel like that'd be something which would be good to see over the course, like before release, over the course of the next few months.
Yeah. There's plenty, I think. Like, and with story, it's like, you know, in a weird way, I don't actually feel like they've shown us all that much story. I guess I'm with all of you where it's like I don't need anything more, but I don't think they've necessarily shown a ton. A lot of the stuff is up in the air of what's going on. But yeah, in terms of the gameplay, that's why I keep saying it. We just need raw gameplay. We should see it at this point. You know, a perfect case scenario would be like a Horizon Forbidden West like state of play. A month before it comes out, you just hit us with 10-15 minutes and we just see a bunch of stuff. That's not really the Horizon thing. Was part of one mission. You know, it's not that big of a deal in terms of the story elements. That's what I think they need to hit us with. This one's an interesting one that I got some people that said they were quite disappointed about the missing out on like a Halloween thing or ASMR. What do you guys think about? And then, I mean, we all mentioned earlier, you know, Christmas. If they don't do like a sitting by the fireplace Christmas thing, I mean, you schedule it to come out on Christmas. You don't have to be in the office. I think if they don't do that, that's a huge mistake. But what do you guys think about the ASMR and the smaller things on Twitter they've done?
Most of their advertising has just been genius. You're right. They have the story elements they've released haven't spoiled anything that we're aware of.
Yeah,
like they are releasing so many little things that just keep everyone's attention absolutely hooked. Initially, I was concerned when they said they was releasing this game. I didn't think it was going to live up to expectations. But just seeing the little snippets and the way they are really slow draw with them, I'm really on board, and I think the team are doing a great job.
Yeah, the Dark Legacy trailer really changed my view of Hogwarts Legacy. Like, I figured there was probably going to be some interesting themes to explore, but really seeing it embodied in this sort of like almost, well, and also the Haunted Hogsmeade, like a horror like way. It's just like, oh, you have this layer to your game as well. So I think that I agree. They've been doing a great job. I personally was very disappointed that there was no Halloween post. I was betting on it. I was like, okay, it's fine. It's Friday. They didn't post anything. Monday is Halloween. We'll just wait on Monday and we'll see something. So I was a little disappointed, but there were a lot of things that were happening over the last few weeks that probably explain why we didn't get anything related to that. Robbie Coltrane passed away. We also have Gotham Knights. So there's like possible reasons to explain kind of the lull that's happening right now, but I thought for sure Halloween was going to be a thing just because it's festive, it's easy. I don't know. That was my thought on it.
Yeah.
I will say,
ASMR
obviously, oh, go on, sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I will give the benefit of a doubt. In the UK, obviously, Hogwarts, where it's based, Marauders will back this up. We don't really have autumn. We just go straight to winter, don't we? Autumn doesn't really exist here. We go straight to winter, rain, cold, snow. So I'd expect now we're in November, going into December, I can definitely see like a winter ASMR, snow, because obviously how iconic obviously some of the shots from the films are with the snow at Hogwarts, the fireplace, especially in the Gryffindor, Hufflepuff common rooms. I can definitely see that going on. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt in the UK, we don't have autumn at all. We just go straight to winter. Rain and snow.
It lasts
from
about a
October
week.
to about February here. Yeah.
You come outside and all of a sudden all of the leaves are just on your car. It's just a week of autumn. That's about it.
See, I need y'all to explain weather to me because I live in the desert and it's just hot all the time. It's like finally cooled off, but it's hot.
I have a different season every single day. You don't want to know weather. But
No.
I think the ASMR will probably be their big November pitch because they dropped a lot of little information. And I did make a video, not to completely plug myself. I made a video recapping everything that happened in October. I know, right? But with the character cards for the companions and then Crucio being confirmed on Halloween, I think they need something for November because the Game Awards will probably be when they show gameplay, unfortunately. And they said soon, but that tweet came out in
Soon is just the
September.
classic word.
Right.
That means
So when you wait 2 or 3 months after you say soon to really show something, I just think it's the next big date they're going to show something.
It would have to be alongside, someone would have to make profit from their trailer. Like PlayStation normally makes some sort of profit. So they wouldn't release them at that massive without someone making profit.
Right. And Game Awards used to be like the first one I think was an hour. Now they're 2-3 hours long. So you can put up 15-minute gameplay. Yeah.
And Marauder made a good point there about PlayStation. Obviously, this game has big ties with PlayStation, and obviously, with God of War being their big release over the next week or two, I feel Hogwarts Legacy, obviously, in terms of trailers, things like that, is going to take a backseat while PlayStation and Sony really push forward the game.
That's what I really believe. I believe that with Gotham. I mean, Gotham Knights, I think it was very obvious because they just really took a 2-week break, and you could tell. And God of War, I just think scares every game. And I don't even know if Sony, because of the Sony association with Hogwarts, I don't even think that necessarily has to do with that. I just think every game kind of stays out of God, except for Sonic. That's going to take the bullet for everybody else. But, I really think other games just stay completely out of God of War's way. But that makes November tough. It's what I talked about in the video where it's like, when do you do it? Because of Thanksgiving and Black Friday. You can't do it then. So you have like the week after God of War, you could do it there. They're in a tight spot no matter what. And you'd expect, something in December at some point.
Is there any Nintendo events coming up?
Pokemon.
They did that direct a month or two ago.
Yeah, I didn't know if there's any more because they still haven't announced anything for Nintendo, although it's still supposed to potentially come out on Nintendo.
Nintendo likes to do this thing where it's Monday and then Tuesday or Wednesday
they drop a bomb.
Announce
like,
something.
hey.
Yeah,
Just drop it and then they destroy everything else.
Tomorrow, tune in at 6 a.m. And you're like, oh,
Yeah, right.
okay.
We got
that was my sort of prediction. Is potentially there's going to be a Nintendo drop at some point.
I think they're going to ignore the Switch port for a longer than you all think. That's what I think they're going to do. I think the Switch part of the game or port is going to come out like next fall. It's going to be super pushed from and I think they're just going to ignore it for the most part. Good old Andy
Q3.
Reloads in the chat. What do you think we'll get before Christmas? So maybe we can go down the line. If we want to start with Lamorak or whatever. In terms of what exactly you think they're going to show, whether it be at the Game Awards or just on their own, and also. How's it going, Andy?
For Christmas, I feel like they're going to be more so exploring the vibe of Christmas than trying to show off gameplay. So I'd probably guess some sort of winter Christmas ASMR than gameplay for that. But yeah, that's my opinion.
Do you think there'll be a show at a Game Awards or something?
I mean, I think something's got to be coming decently soon. I mean, like if you take like in his tweet, he said soon. That only the games we've only got so much time before the game releases, so it's got to be coming, at some point soon. So I mean, I think the Game Awards is a realistic possibility, but we've said it's it's going to be at this event, it's going to be at this event, and it hasn't a lot of time, so I don't really know what to think anymore, but it's a possibility. Yeah.
I think we're going to get the gameplay at some point before Christmas. I don't think it's going to be after Christmas. It would just be, I mean, unless they literally do it as one of the last things they show you as gameplay just to get you really hyped for the game. But I don't think it would be. I think they need to do something bigger before Christmas. But I also think we're going to get something similar to the Common Rooms where we get maybe 1 or 2 short trailers showing off Christmas. So maybe like a trailer similar to the Common Rooms where it just pans around the Great Hall, shows a Great Hall with the trees up and that sort of stuff.
Oh, that would be incredible.
Maybe some like of the grounds with all the snow and that sort of stuff, and you can see students walking through the snow and show off a bit of the graphical side of that.
Yeah.
So I had a list somewhere on this computer where I was keeping track of in the FAQs or when Chandler tweets like, "Oh, we're gonna share this with you later." So the only 2 that come off the top of my head is in the FAQs. It says something about the room requirement. And it says more details will be shared at a later time. So that's one thing that I think would be interesting to see. I don't know if it's like urgent before Christmas, but it's just something that could be shown. The other is of the last tab on that card. Or
somebody even said right there.
Yeah, right? So like that's something that was months ago. That was like Autodesk, right? So that I'm curious. I just need to know. Like, if you're going to tell me something's coming, like, I would rather you not tell me at all. Otherwise, I'm going to be writing it down like I do, Ravenclaw style. Like, okay, you said this, you said that. So those are the 2 things that come to my mind of what we've already been told. But I agree with everyone else about the scenery. It's probably going to be just in the festive spirit, kind of like how Wizarding World does their social promotions as well, tapping into the Harry Potter movies and all of that. So it'll just be, here's a feature, but in Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. I mean, they could just do like a massive, like, I don't know, 20-something minute event and cover all of the stuff they've been saying they're going to cover, even if that be like around Christmas or the Game Awards. But
I think probably the easiest thing to do is continue the Hippogriff escape mission. So they've already showed the first part of that. Why not just continue? Because we already know it's a mission and you're not going to spoil any of the actual story. Now that they need to show the Ravenclaw companion at some point, and there's been a ton of comments about when it's coming, who
I don't have faith in getting information before Christmas, honestly.
No, I think that's going to come after Christmas. And Alex, I know you made a great video about it, not necessarily meaning so much to the story, but there is something to be said about why they're holding that information.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with. I don't know, but I have much to add. I like Christmas time. Definitely expect an ASMR video of showing off just the amazing graphical power of this game. Snow on the castle grounds, like Merlin just said, the Great Hall, the common rooms, all the fires burning, things like that. In terms of stuff, I mean, that'd be a brilliant Christmas present, wouldn't it? The Ravenclaw character.
Who would do the video? I feel like I'd have to take myself out. I don't think I could do it on Christmas Day. Who would jump on?
I'd do it Christmas evening, definitely.
I think my wife would murder me.
Slightly drunk.
Depends what. Yeah, exactly. Depends what time it comes out. If it's
we'll just do another group live stream.
Earlier enough.
Just,
if it's early enough, I could get it in. But yeah, after 5 p.m, I'll be a bit drunk, a bit tipsy. I won't be wanting to do one day.
We're assembling more of the Avengers of Hogwarts Legacy in the comments. Retro Raconteur is also here along with Andy. Let's answer his question. Let's be nice. Which house will you be playing as first? And are you going to be good or evil on the first playthrough? I'll let you guys take it.
Gryffindor and probably good. Pretty cliche, but yeah.
I'm going to be a Ravenclaw, and I'm probably going to do a bit of both. I'm going to literally pick what's right at the time, and if I don't like a character, they're probably going to die.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I can't decide. I'm also a Libra. I can't make decisions. So usually my gameplay comes out just chaotic. Like whatever. Oh, this is good. This is bad. Those labels are kind of subjective. So just what feels right, what feels chaotic. I do like to steal things and get information. So whatever decisions lead me that way. But I will be a Ravenclaw that seeks out knowledge by any means possible.
Yeah, I'll definitely be a Gryffindor. I've been a Gryffindor my whole life. Every time I've taken a test, actually until recently, I got my first Ravenclaw. It was the first time I ever got something other than Gryffindor. But I play games really, like I say aggressively, but I play them really hard for a short amount of time. So I'll probably play the game for 100 hours in the first month, and I'll probably play through it a couple times, and it's just going to be what decision is best. I'm a completionist. I try to get all the trophies, so there's probably going to be one for every single house. So it's just Gryffindor first, and like Last Marauder said, if I don't like somebody, I don't want them around. They're going to get taken out.
Yeah, I'll be a Gryffindor too. And if anyone's ever watched my walkthroughs, you know, if anyone bumps into me, even as Harry Potter, the purest human being alive, I cast him Flipendo. I'm trying to fight them. I'm playing Half-Blood Prince at the moment. And the amount of people I've just started to duel because they've knocked me over and things. Oh, I'm a chaotic player like Woods and PhD. If anyone gets in my way, yeah, I'm dueling them. I'll try to be good. You know, being a Gryffindor, you've got to be. But I'll probably end up just. I'll be able to cast him Cadaver, I reckon, by the time I've ended the game.
My God, we got some aggressive players here. Thanks for the super chat, Steph. Christmas chaos stream, let's go. Yeah, it would be chaos. If they drop it on Christmas, I mean, that's gonna. It depends on. Well, I think actually just doing an ASMR or like you guys said, just walking through the Great Hall. I think that'd be enough to erupt the community even on Christmas. I think it'd be nuts.
I'd love to see the house elves cooking Christmas dinner. That'd be great.
Ooh, yeah.
I actually think it would be a miss if they didn't release something on Christmas. Not even something big, just like a tweet or something. Just because it's so tied in. Like the Harry Potter universe, Hogwarts universe is so tied in with Christmas. It would be a miss, in my opinion.
And last year, I always try to maybe one of you guys know, when did they did a tweet where they talked about how in the new year you're going to see more. And I remember I was seeing a movie, and that was definitely in December, like mid or late. I don't know when it was, but I'm pretty sure they skipped Christmas last year. Now this year's different, but I don't remember when they did that tweet, but I feel like it was probably around like the 15th through 20th, somewhere in there of December last year. So yeah, it'd be a big missed up. And then, like I keep saying, like once you're done with Christmas and, you know, they take their vacation and they come back, I mean, it's go time because early access is the 7th. You know, reviewers are going to get it probably 1st of February or very late January. I mean, like you're in the you really are with that logic. You're in the last month before the game comes out. And so it's going to be nuts to see that final. And depending on how I feel like they're so different than Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights kind of did everything. They just showed everything humanly possible in like August. And then you had the other months left and there was nothing left to show. But Hogwarts is kind of reversed. They could just, you know, hit you with loads of stuff the final couple months.
Yeah.
Let's see. Love to hear all of your thoughts on how time cycle mechanics might work. Yes, so we've had this discussion many a times, but not with you all. So what do you think? Do you think internal clock? You know, we know like a day-night thing does exist and seasons exist and all that, but how do you think the cycle? I guess if you want to go into your predictions of like classes, we've obviously talked about like skipping classes and stuff like that. What do you guys think with the time? I should have an order. Let's go here. We'll swap a couple. We'll do this. There
we go.
Go in a new order.
So am I going first?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Be next for me.
Yeah. I mean, we've seen some of the like the dark arts missions happening at night, and those don't really make sense to happen in the day. So it seems as if the time, at least while the story's going on, is like, you know, controlled by the story, and the time changes depending on what mission you're doing, sort of like a Spider-Man type thing. But yeah, I mean, maybe once the story's done and then you could control the time, or maybe just some missions when the mission starts, even if you're in the middle of the day, when you start the mission, it's night. yeah, those sort of things. But yeah, I think sometimes the time is going to be controlled by the missions. But yeah,
It's a weird one to think about because there's obviously going to be elements. So there's two factors going on in my brain. It's like the story will have to jump because we have to get through most of the year. So there's going to be times where it's going to have to jump, and certain missions, I would imagine, will have like a little cutscene where you sort of look at the sky, see a few hours going past, and it changes from day to night. That type of thing that you get in sort of other games. But at the same time, in the room of requirements, you can see things that take a certain amount of hours or days to develop, like the plants and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. It's a weird one because they've got to kind of accommodate both. So I'm not entirely sure how it works. I think the most likely thing would be is if you're just exploring, it's going to be like, you know, it will go by with a certain amount of hours, like real life hours will be a day, and then when the story needs to jump, it will sort of jump.
Yeah, this was like one of the first videos I think I ever made on Hogwarts Legacy, and I think it is going to be sort of split up into chapters almost. You know, each season will be sort of a chapter. There'll be a certain amount of missions you do in that chapter. So when you there will be like a final mission of that chapter, you know, where it'll be a big story point, quite similar to a Bully, that sort of game where there isn't a clock where you go to classes, you know, just sort of your general open world sort of hours going by. If you want to explore, you can do. You can stay in that chapter. You know, the days will just go by, but the sort of weather and stuff won't change. And then when you're actually doing the missions, when you get to that final one, it'll be sort of like a time jump to the next season. So you start, you know, September sort of to October sort of time, and then you'll jump to the Christmas period or something like that, and then into the spring, and then to the summer. So I think it'll be blocked off into chapters, and then like a sort of a Bully almost. You know, I think Bully is like the easiest game to compare this to in sort of a school open world game. When you try to look for comparison. So I think there will be sort of like a clock for, I'm not sure how long the days will last. I feel they have to be quite stretched out if you've got to go to classes, things like that, and you've got to have time to explore, if there's going to be curfews and things at night. But yeah, I feel like it will be blocked off into sort of chapters almost, you know, 6 chapters or something like that, I'd say.
Well, real quick, and we'll keep going through, and we can kind of circle back. Do you think we'll know, for all of you, do you think we'll know that information that you just talked about, if there is day night? You think we'll know that before the game comes out, or you think that's something that they just leave and we don't know yet?
Are we starting of the?
I mean, like a yes or no to that part. I'd say.
Yes, I think we will.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll find that out probably close to right before the game comes out, because that's some information that a lot of people are going to hang their hat on. Like, I want to know how the game's going to run. But I think other than the Ravenclaw companion, this has been like the biggest kind of question is how will days work? Because the more games you play, the more things kind of happen and the more things you can kind of see. I mean, you play GTA, you see a in-game clock that I think is like 45 minutes for like in-game time. And then you play The Last of Us that has sections, like each act is a season. Right. So the more games you play, the more you can kind of see different things. But I think, in my opinion, it's going to be weird if it's, say, an hour and a half day-night cycle in real lifetime, and you do a mission, but the mission's at night, and you come out of the mission and you're in the middle of the day.
Right.
So I think they're going to have to play with some things on how they're going to do that. But I think a day-night cycle is probably going to be the easiest.
Yeah, I think in my mind, I was imagining story beats being the seasonal change in terms of, again, I'm the girl who doesn't understand seasons because it's just sunny and hot all the time here. But so like thinking of like there are certain in the main story or the main quest line, if you will, to get through the course of a year. That's what I was envisioning in my own brain. Day night is a little trickier for me to like make any guesses on as to whether it's going to be visible in our face of like, oh, here's the hours ticking by, or if it's just going to be visually like you see, oh, the sun is setting, it's getting into nighttime, you know. I'm leaning more towards that, where it just, the day just happens as you're going through. There's an internal timer that's happening, but it's not visible to the player. But I also don't really know at this point. I'm going to say no. I don't know if that we'll get that information before the game comes out. If it depends on how vital it is, or like how important it is to like have that be visible. Is it displayed on the screen that we can see like, oh, hey, there's a day-night cycle when we see like the HUD or anything else that's like visible on gameplay. But if it's not that important, or if it's just in the environment visually, you see that it's sunrise, sunset, then I don't think that we'll get any information about it.
I
Yeah,
think
a
it
lot of
has to be
games will do.
somewhat because of the whole class, like because it connects to classes. If you can skip or go to or they're required, I feel like those two are
Yeah.
pretty heavily linked. So I'm not like an argument. It's just I think once you do the time, the next question will then be, can you skip classes? Can you go to class?
Yeah.
It'll be that kind of stuff. And maybe you leave that open. You just say, well, we gave you the
Mhm.
timer, and you can experience the classes when you get the game.
Yeah, I think they'll show us, because I know they've teased like we'll be able to like sneak out at night and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think they'll probably want to show us that because they've been talking about it. I think they talked about it in the Back to Hogwarts presentation. So I
Yeah.
think they'll show us. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's just my guess.
Yeah.
I had a slight theory around the classes element of it, and I didn't think that we would necessarily go to classes as you read them in books. So I don't think we will learn spells in a potions class. I think we will learn specific spells because obviously we start late, so we're behind. So potentially we might have like go to private lesson with Professor whoever, and that would be our mission, and that's where we learn the mission, or go meet Ravenclaw companion, and they'll teach you how to make this potion. So I don't think we will necessarily learn the spells that we use in the game in the lessons, because then it does tie this day-night cycle into the fact that you have to attend a lesson. So I
Yeah.
think they probably get around that by making us learn the spells by specific people. So you have to meet them at specific times in specific places.
Which
and then
we
the
get
lessons,
a hint on with Sebastian with the
Yeah.
curse. That's kind of the first
Yeah.
little hint. It could be.
yeah. So then specific lessons would be, if you don't go to your lessons, it wouldn't necessarily play out as that's as in you haven't gone to a lesson to learn this spell. It's just a
Right.
case of lessons are taking place around what you're doing.
Right. Just got here passing to wish everybody a great stream, and thank you for all the working hard in the Hogwarts Legacy community. You guys are awesome. Thanks so much. And then since Chandler and company did us dirty by not giving us Halloween candy, do you guys and gal think we'll attend a death day party as compensation?
I doubt it. But
Oh my gosh.
The state of play did show what looked like
Death Day party.
nearly headless Nick going to a
Yeah.
death day
Yeah.
party.
If we
But-
pay out
I mean,
the full
it
3
obviously-
years, then it's his 400th. I think.
400.
It is like a big
Yeah,
one.
it
So
would
if we
milestone.
pay out the full 3 years, the
Yeah.
third year will be a big one for him. So potentially that would be.
Yes, if it's 1890, it would be his 398th in the first year of the game. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's some knowledge. I didn't know that.
Well, on that same point, and again, I think probably individually we've all talked about it, but let's hit people with the facts here. What do you think? Do you think it's 3 years? Do you think it's 1? So we had the whole the poster, which did come out as that was just a mistake, and I find that pretty funny, just because it's like that's such a big thing, but it's really not actually, but it just kind of slipped by them. So you could Dumbledore obviously would appear then in year 3. I feel like the last time I had this discussion with the other Hogwarts Legacy creators, we kind of walked ourselves into 1 year. But let's hear it. What do you guys think? Here,
I'm
hold on,
team
hold on,
1
hold on.
year.
Let me. You still go first, Lynn. I'm gonna
Okay.
move. There. Well, I'm just gonna move everybody by 1.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead. Start.
I think 1 year. I don't know. I don't think that we'll get the 3 years. I don't really have a reason for it. I just I think that this is an acute situation. There's a mounting goblin rebellion. There's lots of stuff going on. You have ancient magic. You're going to learn stuff over the course of a school year. That's what I think.
See, I think it's going to be 3 years just for my video that I'm working on at the moment is characters that are confirmed or possibly going to be in this game, just due to the dates and all that sort of stuff, and the amount of characters that come into it in the 2 years following the start of this story. There's like Dumbledore, Alfire Stoge, all that sort of stuff. There's just so many characters that come out in the 3 years that I just think they've picked a very good time that we will still get snippets of people that we've seen. So I think we'll go for it.
I am 1 year too. I just feel it'll follow the beats of your classic Potter story in the sense of, it's just 1 school year. It's just the fact if it was multiple years, just how that summertime would work in terms of being an open world, obviously be away from Hogwarts, because I'm guessing you would be staying there if it would just skip over the summer. See, I am in firmly just having it in 1 year, just sort of your classic Potter story in that sense.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with 1 year. I think as much as we all want it to be more, I think WB is thinking money long term. And there's nothing wrong with that. They're a business. I mean, they have to be able to sell games. They have to be able to stay afloat. And if this game sells well, they could make 2 more potentially, or even more when you're a professor or outside in the real world. Yeah. So other than that, I've had this theory for a long time that right before the last mission, once you complete it, they're going to put you right back before that last mission, just like Breath of the Wild when you complete it. So you can go back and do all the open world stuff. And then time won't necessarily like keep progressing. You'll just kind of stay still. So that would be how they kind of overlap that summer-ish holiday. They don't actually go deep into
it's sort of the endless summer a lot of other Potter games have, like where you just stay in summer, you can finish everything off. Yeah, that's what I think as well. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I also vote 1 year. I think 3 years, that would just be an insane, because 1 year for a game story, that's already a decent period of time to have to cover. And then for 3 years, that you'd have to jump around like crazy to be able to cover that. The game would have to be like insanely long. I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
At all.
It looks like we got more 1 years than 3 years here. It's a tough one. I think because of the Goblin Rebellion, it depends on though if there's, I've talked about it that there could be like the third mystery villain. It depends on how much they've shown us and how much they're kind of keeping secret, because and you do get that sometimes with these open world games, like the threat that you see, it becomes just much larger. It's not just based off the trailer, of it. All right, let me shuffle while we hit. I don't like how it does this. I just want to move everybody over by 1, but I don't think I just did it right. I'm pretty sure I did it wrong. Could it be possible that the attend class mechanic could work similar to the way it works in Hogwarts Mystery mobile game? You can attend classes whenever you'd like, when you need a new skill, etc.
I never played that for long. I sort of played it for like an hour, and then I was like, I don't like these mechanics. But I mean, I think with the classes, it's hard because it's like there's immersion where you might want to have the immersion of going to classes every day and learning new stuff. But I think when you need to learn a new skill makes sense because they have to balance immersion with making it like an actual logical gameplay decision. So you're like, oh, I need this new combat. Like I need to upgrade my combat abilities. The new enemies I'm fighting a little bit too hard, so you get offensive against the dark arts. I think that makes sense. I think in the beginning of the story, you'll probably have more classes just because they're like, oh, here's what classes are like. You're at Hogwarts. And as the story progresses and you're dealing with bigger and bigger things, it's sort of like Harry, as he progresses in his adventure, he's just not really going to as many classes. He's not focusing on the classes as much.
He skips a lot.
Yeah.
So even though I'm a Ravenclaw, I have full intentions on skipping as many classes as possible. Like, I just want to explore the world. I don't really care about class. I know that we have to go to class, and that's part of it. But I'm not sure. I also played Hogwarts Mystery, and like Lamorak, I did not like it. But I don't need to get into that right now. I think that I'm also kind of like thinking within the context of who we are. I'm also expecting, we have this special curriculum. We're very special. So like there must be maybe not set times or ways that we can get around that sort of like, oh, you have to go to class at this time, or it's during the day. It's not like you necessarily have classes at night unless you're doing divination or stuff like that. So I would be curious to see how it plays out. But I'm also kind of like, I can just, if I'm taken out of it to do class when it doesn't really match up, it's not going to be game breaking for me because I'm going to treat it as like, oh, I need to skill up. I need to get my character stronger.
I will keep going. I just want to say expecto go also in the chat. Hello, good sir. All right, last Marauder. I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of, like I said, I said a bit earlier. I think it's going to be more specific people are going to teach you the spells that you're going to use in the game. I don't think that the lessons are going to be vital to learning the spells or the potions or the ingredients that we use in the game. I think they're just going to be there as more story elements to start missions. You'd be coming out of a classroom with your friends, and we would have specific people that we'd have to go to learn those missions, those spells.
Yeah, I've not thought about it the way obviously Marauder has explained how he feels, and building on that, I think that's actually could be a way it happens, and maybe the classes are more where you use these spells you've learned. Obviously, it is an optional thing if you're learning them in missions, and we do know there's a leveling up system. You're in the game, and here maybe a way to level up the spells, level up yourself as a character. By using them in practice things, like for example, a practice dueling defense against dark arts, or in charms class you have like certain things you've got to cast on, and with the spells you've learned outside the class to actually keep using them and leveling up. I think that could be a way classes could be used within the game if they are not going to be compulsory.
I think we've seen kind of how at least the first class is going to go for most of the classes. It's going to be sort of a cutscene introduction. And I after that, I'm not really sure we're going to be able to actually go to them. I think Fire Emblem Three Houses kind of did it best. And I've talked about this a couple times where it's almost a point system to help you level up. So you put 3 points into potions class, you get a little bit of XP for potions. So you don't actually attend that class. You just get the XP for it and then you move on. I think that would kind of be how because people have talked about, hey, can we do them whenever? Then how would you do a day-night cycle if you could go to class whenever? And you don't really want to be on a real life day-night cycle, because then you'd have to wake up, I don't know, 6, 7 a.m. and you actually go into the game. So yeah, I think it'll be more of a point system just for XP.
Fire Emblem's a good one, and I played it. I think right when the new year crossed. I never actually have thought of Fire Emblem as a good comparison, but it is actually a really good one. Andy, thanks for the super chat, bud. What would you all not want to see in Hogwarts Legacy? Keep up the great work, everyone. Loving the stream. Thank you, good sir. All right, hold on. So I want to make sure I'm getting this right. And then you go there. This is hard. This is my first time doing. Okay, what do you guys not want to see in the game?
What a tough question.
That is a really big question. I'm not really even sure, because I think the more you can add as like a fan of the lore of the wizarding world, the better. But I think if you add actually having to sit in a class for 20 minutes, I think that would be really hard for me, because I didn't like going to school. I didn't like completing either of my degrees in college. So I'm not a fan of sitting in class. So when you talk about things you don't want to see, I don't want to go to class at all.
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it's the spells. I think the way we use spells needs to be phenomenal. I think if it's like, oh, you can equip 4 spells and then you gotta like pause combat or like get out of combat to like switch the spells. I think it needs to be fluid and happen in real time. Yeah, that's the only thing for me.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like double negative this. So basically, what I really want is to have. Not everything needs to be interactable, but I want to have the feeling of it. I don't want to be limited in like, oh, you can only interact with these 4 things in this room, and this is what you do, and you do this like sort of routine-based thing, and have it be repetitive like that. I think that's where my answer will be, because I know that I and many of us probably want the world out of this game, but I don't want to feel constrained. I think it's more of a feeling based thing, as I don't want to feel constrained, especially with interacting with the environment.
I'm really struggling to answer this, because
that's why I made something up.
Anything they can add for me would just make it. But my only thing I don't like about most franchises is when they put in sort of forced fan service that just doesn't make sense. So as long as they keep things like real, like as real as it can be in a fantasy world, but you know what I mean, like as long as they keep things as they should be, not just force force something in just for the sake of saying, "Oh, look, we know that. That's really cool." Then, as long as things are there for a reason, I think that would make me more happy rather than just sort of forced fan service. But that was a really forced answer because anything they can give me, I want.
Fan service would definitely be putting like Potter or like a descendant of the Potters or even Dumbledore. Now that we've talked about this, just keep them out. This game's about us. Just keep them out.
I have a really bad feeling that it's going to be a Potter as the Ravenclaw companion. I just part of me kind of would be like, okay, that's really cool. It's not a Gryffindor, but at the same time, I think that's why it's going to be a big name that they're not dropping. It's got to be.
Yeah, it's a horribly hard question. I did make a video on about. I'm thinking more of stuff what's been in previous Potter games, but I've not liked. I did make a video on this recently where I looked at things they should take and things they should leave behind. And again, what I wouldn't want from this game is just, Hogwarts to feel empty and hollow. Like, I've recently done Order of the Phoenix where, quite similar to what Wizard PhD says, everything's interactable in that game. You can cast spells on half the castle. All the characters are, it's literally the way to complete that game 100% is just to explore that castle. And then when you compare it to Half-Blood Prince, where it's just the castle walls are there and you're in between them, basically. Hogwarts doesn't have that magic, the interactability. So I feel like I wouldn't want Hogwarts just to be this building. It needs to be interactable. It needs so many secrets. So I feel like that's what I wouldn't want from this game.
Yeah. I'd lean into that. I would say also in terms of the double negatives, the same thing that was said earlier, but just also with people. If there's only like 7-8 people you can talk to in like the whole game, it should be. I'm not expecting to talk to every single student you meet. But the common room does. Well, see, again, like there's so much stuff that they maybe turned off in the common room because right now sitting here, I don't know if you can talk to anybody in any of those common rooms. And that's probably not a good sign for talking to students just in the castle wall in general. But they could have turned it off because I actually hope they did turn things off. 31 of you need to match that. But I haven't even checked. Make sure you guys are all hitting the like. Obviously helps the video now, helps it later for replay. Thank you for that plug. I have horrible time enjoying these things. So glad to see the Wizarding community come together. Honestly, can't wait for more content from all of you. Thank you. Yeah, these are all, like I said earlier, incredible people, and they make some really good videos and all pretty different from each other. Expecto Go, thank you. Okay, Merlin. Well, let me shuffle. Hold on. Oh god. Okay, we can start if you guys want Merlin or no Merlin.
Oh. I mean, I think Expecto Go's made me say yes. At the beginning, I was no, but watching his videos, I'm like, I'm in on this now. Yeah, he's convinced me. You have convinced me.
Yeah, I think the marketing material has kind of said yes, and mostly if you watch the behind the scenes thing between Merlin and Morgana, this is something that hasn't really been discussed for the lore of the Wizarding world before. So I think it will be, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the real question is, are we going to see some sort of like physical version of Merlin? I think Merlin will be part of the story, obviously, because they've effectively said that in the state of play with the puzzles and stuff. I just think, how involved is he going to be, like personally, or is it just stuff he's left behind? And honestly, I have no idea, but yeah, I don't know. It's a hard one.
So my answer is yes, but I have to show you. You can't see my shirt right now. And sorry, Alex, if this is inappropriate for your channel. It's just an inside joke, okay? Daddy Merlin. That's where it's at. So it was an accident. I accidentally said that on stream, and then it became a thing that people never let me live down. So I decided to make a shirt out of it.
You have to lean into those kind of things.
Yeah.
James already knows that I'm a full-on Merlin convert, and I'm very vocal about it in the Discord. So yeah, definitely Merlin, and I think we'll actually see him in sort of pensive memories and walk along beside him and watch him experience his life at Hogwarts as well. So I think that's going to be a big part of not say the main story, but like a big side mission.
how could you, like was said before, how could you? James has done a really good job. So to just put it aside and say no is hard, even from a personal level. But I mean, if it's not the case, boy, I think some people are going to be very, very upset. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Especially for those 1 year versus 3 year folks. I probably agree, but the question I keep circling back to is how do we account for the massive storage size of the game? Thanks for the awesome content. Thanks, man. I don't know if do you mean storage size as in how big, like the file size? Is that what he means? You think?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I just think because
How
it's
big is the
massive,
file?
it's a lot of assets in that game.
85 gigs.
Yeah, I think.
Wow.
PC.
I didn't
Right.
know that.
Yeah.
I've
God
not
of
checked
War
my
is huge.
PlayStation 5 yet. No.
God of War is gigantic, and I don't know. I just imagine now. Well, here's the thing. This could be a question, or it could just be like a laugh. But like when they announce the 30 frames versus 60, that's going to be the big thing that people, because of Gotham
Ooh.
Knights, because of all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But I just assume it's so big because it's just so massive. And I was reading a thing where like audio is a big thing too, in game file sizes that makes games like
Lines.
blow up.
Yeah.
So I assume, I mean, so much dialogue, so many
Yeah.
alternate decisions, which is more dialogue. So
Right.
I can imagine why it's so big.
I think there's also going to be a lot of secrets.
Yeah.
I think there's just going to be hundreds. Like the little trapdoor that well, not really trapdoor, but the doorway painting that we saw.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's going to be lots of little things. So it could be partially to do with that, but it could also be just the general size of the game.
So it looks like they took it down on Steam.
Yeah, I don't see how they could know the exact file size this early, because I mean they're
Yeah.
constantly got to be adding stuff and whatever.
Yeah,
So that
we'll see when
must-
the game, like when reviewers have it and stuff, they'll post
Yeah.
screenshots of it downloading and all that stuff. The thing is,
Yeah.
it just needs, and I've talked about it before. It just needs to run well. I mean, when you have, and now it's not going to have the same issues potentially as Gotham Knights with like the multiplayer thing, but the bugs that they've kind of leaned into on social media, I'm totally fine with it until they're in the base game. And I've
Right.
always said that's kind of a tightrope that they're walking, where it's okay to make fun of yourself, and it is funny, but if the game has those bugs still in it, it doesn't look so good that you were laughing about it, a few months
Right.
before. So
I
I just hope the game runs well. But everything kind of seems very closed off. I don't foresee huge problems with like things popping in. Gotham Knights has those problems and things kind of just appearing. Hogwarts really shouldn't, I feel.
yeah.
But yeah. Let's see. Oh, they won't actually know the file size until it's super close. And it could be bigger too because of day one
Yeah.
patch and stuff like that. It could be I don't know if it'll be over 100. That'd be on PS5 and Series S and X. On PS4, like last gen stuff, yeah, I could see it being one of the bigger file sizes we've seen. Let's see. Well, if you guys want to ask in terms of the chat, just general, yes, no questions or whatever, we can do some sort of rapid fire kind of thing.
Someone just asked a question about the Patronuses.
Oh yeah, go.
Mm.
Where the last one? This
Yeah.
one? All right, let
Good one.
me shuffle. Oh God. Is that you're over there? Okay, if we
There
get
we
a
go.
Patronus, do you guys think I should take a picture of the screen so I know if we get a Patronus? Do you guys think that how we play the game will affect the form it would take? Okay, what do you guys think on? Do you think they're in the game, and then do you think they? We've talked about the idea that they could have. What was the number? It's some insane amount of Patronus.
153.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about it?
I think they will be in the game. I think we've seen Dementors in one of the original. I think it's the original trailer, wasn't it? So I think there will be an element of it. I don't think it'd be a regular story element. I think it'd probably be like a big moment element. So then it's not sort of something they'd have to massively animate all the time for sort of gameplay purposes. But I think it will link most likely to your Wizard of World account, and because everything else links to your Wizard of World account, so why wouldn't they take the
Yeah, why
Patronus
not?
as well? So I think it would, and I think it would just be like they would have just filmed 150 little snippets just for this one scene potentially, and then it's just not having to overpower the gameplay. That's my opinion.
I think for being that, I do think it will be something set in stone, to do with a story, to do with like our background, whatever that may be. I feel like in Harry Potter and the Wizarding World in general, everyone has always got like an animal tied to their background, to their characters, to their history. I just think with the Merlin side and things like that, the special abilities we have, I do think we'll have like a specific animal linked with us, and I think it will be the Patronus will be set in stone for us all.
At first, I was on the train of no, and then somebody in my comments said they are already having a ton of animal animations in the game, so why can't you make those Patronuses? Because my thing was there's 153 different types of Patronus. There's no way you're going to animate every single one of those. That would be too much. But then how many fantastic beasts are they going to add? You could just make those same mechanics with Patronuses. So if you have a 4-legged animation already, you can just carry that over. So I think, yes, there will be. But the other thought is if you go away from the lore a little bit and just use the incorporeal form, you could kind of just throw that in the game rather than having just everybody every time using the corporeal form. So yes,
this one's
they did make a real big reference in the Autodesk presentation that actually they've got like a slider thing, so they can just literally do a slider to change the size and all that sort of stuff of their animations. So if it was the animals that they've made, a four-legged creature walk, they can just do sliders depending on the size of the animals. So
right.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, they don't have to animate 153 things. They just need to do certain, even if it's just one animation and then change it for different sizes. And maybe it's like a lizard, they just tweak the animation a bit. I think the suspicious thing is they said like we'll get the wand, the house will transfer from the account, but they didn't mention the Patronuses, so that's a little bit suspicious if they're planning on doing it. Why didn't they mention it?
Right.
Maybe they didn't know if they're going to do it, but I think a non-corporeal or whatever, however you pronounce that, will definitely be in because we've seen the Dementors. But yeah, I mean, I think it's possible they could do 153 or whatever, but yeah, I don't know. I think because of our whole ancient magic thing, we're supposed to be powerful. I don't think they'd leave it with just like the weak version of the spell. I think they got to go like all the way or not at all, but yeah. So my guess would probably be yes.
Yeah, I'm with Lamorak with the explicit exclusion of Patronus being ported in from our own, because that's the whole point, right? It's our Hogwarts Legacy. You would want our own specific Patronus in it.
Right.
So initially I was on the no train, but then as many people in chat who I think have also commented to me the same idea of the non-corporeal form. So it can be like Lego Harry Potter, even though I'm bad in that section of the game because the Dementors just like latch onto you and you're just like, oh gosh, Harry Potter's dead again. So I think having just like an effect that if we do encounter Dementors, when we encounter Dementors, it'll be something, but not necessarily an animated form.
Yeah, that's kind of where I agree with that. I think the exclusion of it, and it's tough because it's like, do you do that because you want it to be some big reveal later? But you really can't do that because of this linking. It's kind of like an all or nothing, and what you've announced is all you're doing. I just find it odd that they would add it in later. So that kind of gets me away from, into animals or linking it directly to you. But yeah, that's another one. I mean, this is a free video idea for literally anybody. Make a list of just these questions that people are still having, or rank them even, because this is obviously.
So there's a huge question that's come off of that, and it's if you link your account, is the wand choosing ceremony going to be like you choosing your wand going to be different than if you don't link your account? Like, how are they going to tie in? Because if you go to Ollivander's and you have your wand linked, you already know. Whereas if you don't know which wand you're going to get, do you get to mess with different types of wands? So how are they going to balance that type of animation through? That's been a big question that's come up when people are asking me. I'm like, I have no clue. I have no clue.
The one thing that bothers me is that we're obviously still a wizard before these 5 years. So are we even going to go to Ollivander's?
That's true.
Right,
but they've showed it.
But
have they?
Well, it's the
they did. They did show someone there with a wand.
Yeah, but I think you'd have to go to somewhere to upgrade your wand. I think we'll have to have a wand sorting ceremony just because if you say, oh, we already had our wand before because we were already a wizard, then people are going to end up with the one they don't like. So because you just have to randomize it. So you'd have to choose your wand at some point. So I think
Well,
probably
the
some
choosing
sort
the
of-
wand is so iconic, like that, like the
Right.
scene you pick it up in the wind or
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you can't not make that a cutscene, you know. But to your
Unless you
point, do
lose your
you?
wand, potentially.
There has to be some part of it that you would cut out if you already know going in. Versus,
Yeah.
So you're right. I mean, but it can't be too much. Whatever the ceremony is of him giving you the wand and you hold it in your hand, that cutscene's the same no matter what. Whatever happens right before then, that
Right.
would either be cut out if you linked it, or it would be in if you did.
Right. I think it'll probably be some sort of like, do you want to choose your wand if you choose it, if you don't, or do you want to use the wand from your account? Here's what that wand is, and you just choose those options. And maybe even there's customization, like if it let's because I have a Hawthorn wand, but the drawings are all the same, just different colors. So a Hawthorn wand could look like a lot of different designs. So maybe you pick one of those designs from the material and core that you have.
Do you think wands will look different?
Yeah.
Depending on what you choose.
I think they have multiple designs. I mean, I think if you look through, I think we've already seen multiple designs for the character wand.
Would you guys think we'll be able to pick to be a pureblood, half-blood, or muggle? So we've gone through some of this stuff in the past, but I think it's linked to the story, so you won't be able to pick it yourself.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Yeah, because they'd have to have a lot of pre-recorded. They have to like multiple pre-recorded lines, like different storylines depending on what you chose. If they had you choose it, that'd just be a lot. Versus
that's a huge story component. Even though I mean, you know, you are picking yourself, but yourself already kind of exists. You're 14, 15, however old you are. You wouldn't be able to port over animations to a different model as it would require rigging each individual model to account for vertex change.
No, so that's generally true. But with their mods that they made to Unreal, they've basically, or no, I think it was Maya actually. They used certain technology that they've created custom to basically auto convert these animations to new models. So they had a male and a female. The female is smaller, and basically just took the animation and scaled it down to the new model, so it looks natural on a smaller, differently shaped model. So normally that'd be true, but they've done a workaround to basically speed up that process.
Some technical talk. They show images of the wand ceremony. Yeah, that's and that's the picture too, right? Where they're holding the wand. Yeah, so that's definitely.
The one everyone's used as a thumbnail at this point.
Yeah, like 5 times.
Back in the
days. Let's see. How does Merlin fit into this? Didn't he live a couple centuries before Hogwarts was even founded? What do you guys?
No,
we can go through.
Where's James?
So, I was going to say, Merlin was, according to Harry Potter lore anyway, he was one of the first students at Hogwarts and was a Slytherin. He was one of his first students and even took him down to train him in the Chamber of Secrets and things like that.
Yeah, listen, so I think this whole thing, and especially because it's been standing out to me more, we're trying to uncover a truth about the wizarding world. And I still think that it has to do with Hogwarts and its founding. So going back to Hogwarts Legacy Explained with that nice little recap of Merlin as one of the first students. Hogwarts was built, like the Hogwarts pensive was in the ground and it was built around there. So there might be ties to ancient magic. We have ties to ancient magic. There's like a lot of, it can't be a coincidence that all of these things seem to be tied up in the story of Hogwarts Legacy and also us being very particular to this story. So definitely Merlin with all of these little bits with ancient magic. I think it'll probably be through pensive memories. I think we mentioned this before of like, is Merlin, like, are we going to see him? Well, how might we see him? Through his memories? Like, that would be so cool, because then you can kind of open up in this like historical sense of like seeing things play out and what does that mean for the 1890 wizarding world? What insights can you take away? I'm very excited for that part if we do get to see that.
I don't think any of us think he's gonna like show up in the flesh. You're like, hey, this is Merlin. He's a little bit old, but he's fine. It'll probably be some sort of like memory or maybe a ghost, probably not a ghost, but yeah, some sort of memory thing, but not.
It could potentially be an artifact that we hold that allows us to sort of communicate in some way, like Riddle's diary, that sort of thing as well. Like, obviously not a Horcrux. Well, I mean, he was a Slytherin and he was taught by Severin, so it might be a Horcrux, but I don't think it would be, because that would mean he's probably still out there somewhere. But yeah, something similar to that could potentially be there. But I think the most likely thing would be a pensive.
Yeah. You think any of our companions will die? This isn't it. So, because they have ties to, and you imagine they're going to have ties to the main story. And if there is a battle of Hogwarts at the end and everybody kind of participates, there should be deaths. That'd be kind of rough. I mean, you can only talk about 3 of them right now. See, like, I don't think you'd kill either of the girls. So I think like Sebastian would kind of be in danger, but we also don't know the 4th. So I don't know if I can make.
Poppy's going to kill them.
I don't think all of them would die. Maybe one.
I was going to say, which one would you kill off first?
Poppy.
Sebastian.
Yeah, I think Sebastian. I think he'll be some sort of like save his sister and then die in the process, sort of thing. I think that makes sense, but
I think you might kill him. I think genuinely, I think he might go so far to the dark side. If you're choosing the light side path, then you're going to have to fight him.
Yeah,
I think it could be a battle between you and him, and winner.
That'd be intense.
I love it.
It's interesting because those companions are optional, or those stories are optional.
Yeah.
And because I'm thinking about other games where you have quest givers. I guess it's not main quest, but and the consequences of that character not being around anymore. Like, how does that impact at all? Right. Even though it's a side quest, does it impact the world at large that you're navigating, or how does it impact?
I think they'd have to die in a main story mission at the very end of the game, and so because that way you're going to introduce them where you have no choice. You are going to talk to them, and then you'll have the choice to do their quest line or not, and then you can leave them. So some people won't have any connection to these characters, and then maybe one dies at the end, or you have gone through all 4, you like them, and then they were going to keep reoccurring. That's just how I imagine they'll do it. Which I think Ghost of Tsushima is a good example for that.
To make it most impactful as well, it would make sense if they did it for the one that you're closest with, like the friendship-wise. Like the highest level friendship is the one that's a gone.
Oh, okay.
Brutal.
You think they would tie it into some, like, where the game knows how close you are and they would do it? That'd be kind of nuts.
Yeah.
And then you take your Avada revenge on everyone.
I think they could do it as a choice. So this is a funny story. So I was going to Platinum GTA 5. So when GTA 5 came out, it was actually a month before GTA Online came out. And I actually beat the storyline in the course of 24 hours. So it was before a guide was out. And I picked an ending that killed one of the characters instead of the option to get the Platinum. So I actually never went back and got it because I was like, I'm not playing this again. But if they do it like they did GTA 5, you could pick at the end of like the main mission, hey, they all survive. I'm going to sacrifice this person or this person. So I think that might be an actual viable option.
We can do this. Any of you worried the game gets leaked? It's happening more and more recently, like Gotham Knights, Bayonetta 3, God of War. I think it's one of the game, but it depends on how it's handled with who's like God of War. They were just handing it out. You could just go to a store, or people were going in to get a Call of Duty bundle and they gave them the God of War bundle. And that's very funny to me. And I'd like that to happen to myself, but it didn't. But yeah, I don't know. Because I don't know how much media is actually going to, I won't get too controversial for the sake of it, but I always like to throw it in. I don't know how much the media will actually care about this game and hyper focus on these things. I feel like they're going to kind of do their best to ignore most of it. So it's not going to come from, I think, like a reviewer. It'd have to come from somebody who got it early, like just a random, and then they post the whole thing on Reddit. And I think it's pretty likely it happens at some point.
I don't think it would affect us massively. I think from especially like this community, like you want to know the secrets if you're in this community. Like a lot of us do like breakdowns and theories and that sort of stuff. So I don't think it would affect us massively. The only like really disappointing thing would be if it like leaked massive story elements. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the most concerning thing. But if it was like leaked gameplay, or even if it was like the leaked Ravenclaw companion, I don't think it would ruin.
I think it'd be applauded if it was those things. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I agree.
I know we'd all be straight on here like making videos. So
Careful
I
with,
think yeah.
careful with Warner Bros. They're not very nice with leaks and stuff.
Right.
Yeah, you had experience, Alex.
Yeah, I've had experience. That's, I'll leave it alone. But
It really just depends.
What is it?
It really just depends on what's leaked.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
because you look back at The Last of Us Part 2, and whoever hasn't played that game, I'm not going to completely spoil it, but one of the main characters dies essentially, and that leaked, and that was one of the biggest leaks. And then the GTA 5, and I think it's kind of hard pressed to say it's not going to leak to some capacity.
Yeah.
But it's how much is going to leak, what's going to leak. And I actually tweeted the other day, I want to make videos on God of War, but I want to look up nothing right now. I don't want to look up anything. So I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'm going to be streaming it, but like I don't want to look anything up, so I'm not going to be making any videos on it because I know I'm going to find something and I want to experience it for the first time. So yeah, it's going to leak for sure, but what is it is the question.
Leaks are fun. Will you all be using dark magic on your first playthrough? You gotta test it out.
Yeah, exactly. Same feeling.
Yeah, I mean, it'll probably be like when I need to, not necessarily like an evil capacity, but maybe using it for maybe decent goal, but nothing like too dark.
Well, if you are evil, you can rationalize it for anything. You take you pretend you're the villain. But no, yeah, you have to try it. I gotta see how Avada Kedavra works and all that. Me and other people and stuff have talked about it, but what do you guys think for relationship? I've always said no because of their age.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Oh, hold on, I didn't. Well, go ahead. You do it.
Go ahead.
Shuffle. I didn't shuffle.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it doesn't fit the story, I feel, Hogwarts Legacy, either from what we're seeing. Their age. I don't see it fitting in or how it would add to gameplay. Well, add to the game, if that makes it. What would it achieve? What would it be? Is it just for the sake of it? Yeah, I just don't think it will be, no.
Yeah, I agree completely. They would have shown something by now if that was part of it, or at least put it in like some sort of description and text. I just don't think it's going to be part of it.
Yeah, I mean, because we have the 3 companions, right? And none of those really seem to, like, you couldn't just like make one of them a romantic, option. That'd just be weird. So it'd be more like you'd have to like choose somebody, and then that'd be really weird. It's just weird. Like, no matter what way they would do it, it'd be weird in this context. Like in certain games, it works and it just feels like it makes sense. When this, I just don't really see it helping the game or making any sense. Yeah,
literally what I was going to say. The age thing makes it weird, and it just wouldn't add anything other than potentially a higher level of fear during the Battle of Hogwarts.
Right. That's true.
Would it really add that element if they were like a really close friend? At the end of the day, throughout the gameplay, it's still going to have the same sort of level. You wouldn't want them to die.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I actually got flamed for this, saying that people would be too young. And everyone in the comments was like, they don't have to do XYZ. They don't have to do this. They can hold hands. They could kiss. And I'm like, yeah, but a majority of the people who are going to play this game are, 21 to 35. And we don't want to see a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds holding hands or kissing or XYZ. And it's not like The Witcher or Mass Effect where you can have full-blown like relationships, and they're not going to do that with 15-year-olds, especially after all the backlash JK's gotten and everything like that. So I don't think
although our love interest could awkwardly tie our shoelaces like Ginny could. So.
Oh my gosh.
Need the little crumpet.
No.
Open up you.
Do you think that we will meet or interact with Nicholas Flamel? Let me there.
I think I think you have like a set limit of how much fan service you can do in the form of characters. Like you could have Dumbledore maybe, but like anything else starts getting, it's a bit of a stretch. Maybe just Nicholas Flamel, but not Dumbledore. Like if you have too many characters, I feel like you're just like going past a line where it's just, this is just pure fan service. I think it'd be cool. It might be one of the options that makes the most sense. Just because he was in Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts, so he's sort of like one of those crossover characters that's lived a long time. But I don't know. I don't know if he was alive, actually. Was he? No, I think he was.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I think it's interesting to think about, like, so even for characters that we know who do exist at Last Marauder, you'll make the video to kind of cover all of that. But it's interesting to think about, like, in what context would you interact with them? So if we are working with Fig or have some connection with the ministry, or like maybe we read a letter that's from Nicholas Flamel, you know, there's other ways to kind of introduce it that's not sort of like, oh, it's in your face, like here we meet this person and that person. I think that would be really cool to have things that are in text that kind of flesh out the world a bit and be like, oh yeah, like we know, we are familiar with this and this is what this looks like at this point in time in the wizarding world. So possibly, but probably not anything consequential.
Yeah, this sort of links back to what I was saying about like the really difficult question of what I don't want, and I don't want fan service just for the sake of it. I would rather not see Nicholas Flamel. I would not want to interact with him. But if we got mention of him in a letter or a news article saying, "Oh, Nicholas Flamel has just done this," that'd be really cool to see. You know, just a nice little snippet.
Yeah.
Like you don't need to force feed a character just to have them on screen to see them. There's certain characters that would make sense to see them, like Nick, Nearly Headless Nick, and all those sort of characters that we know would be around and would make sense to be at the school. Or even if you go into stretch it a bit further, like Professor Tofty, is it, that does the examinations? He says in the books that he tested Dumbledore. So characters like that would make sense because they would actually be at Hogwarts. But just throwing them in just for the sake of it, I don't want that. And I kind of hope we wouldn't necessarily see him in person. We just see maybe a snippet mentioning him in an article or something.
Yeah, I completely agree with The Last Marauder, and obviously we see Nicholas Flamel like in Crimes of Dumbledore article with shoehorned in there already, and I doubt he'd make it to Hogwarts the way he looked there, the travelling and stuff. Obviously, he's based in France. Yeah, I just don't see how you could just shoehorn him in. He's famous for the Philosopher's Stone. I don't think that'll be making an appearance in this game. I think we might read about him, the same book Hermione had in Philosopher's Stone, that might make an appearance looking at ancient magic. Obviously, he's from the 1400s, so you might be looking to a book like that, but I don't think he'll be appearing just at Hogwarts to say hi.
I think I might be the only one in the whole community that wants this game as far removed from the Harry Potter franchise as it can be, while still being in the Hogwarts like Wizarding World universe, because I don't want mention of anyone. Like, yes, there's probably going to be, you pick up a piece of paper or you Accio a piece of paper to you and you see, hey, this was Nicholas Flamel's blah, blah, blah. You put it in a notebook, but I don't want anyone to be around with that. I want this to be our adventure, and they've been preaching that. And I don't want to see him. That's my answer. I don't want it.
One I saw as you guys were talking, how are we going to carry our brooms? Do we just sit them down outside somewhere when we go into a dungeon or exploring?
Oh,
Magic pockets.
No, I think it's gonna be like Harry in the drawing a blank, but the fourth book. What was that called? I'm drawing a blank.
Goblet of Fire.
There it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. No, it's gonna be like him when he's fighting the dragon in the first challenge, where he just sort of like does Accio and then comes flying out of the sky.
Yeah.
And you grab it. I think it'll be something like that.
Where does our room live? I have questions about that. Does it just hang out in our house?
It could be literally one of two things. Accio could work, but also my favorite spell in the whole Wizarding World is the Undetectable Extension Charm. So, like, you could literally have a backpack with the Undetectable Extension Charm, and you can carry around everything you need in it. So it would just make sense.
I feel it's going to be like GTA, where you pull it out, where you pull a rocket launcher out of your backside. But obviously,
Where does it go?
With an undispensable, with the extension's charm being the lore explanation, yes. But yeah, I feel like it'll be like that, where you carry loads of things and you'll just be pulling them out of nowhere. I feel.
I think go ahead.
No, you just made me think about like to add to that question of what do you not want to see, but this is a Lynette problem. I don't want to do inventory management because I'm really bad at it, and I hate that in games. Go on.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I think a cool mechanic, and this was from my recently replaying Cyberpunk, and is also a GTA. When you click a button, your car shows up, and I think that could be an easy mechanic to hit right on the D-pad, and your character goes Accio, and then the broom kind of just zooms into the screen and just sits there, so you can hop on. I think that would be an easy mechanic to implement because it's been done in so many different games.
You could also whistle and get your mount in that way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, can you use ancient magic to just like summon your broom?
Yeah, but I think we already saw it, didn't we, in the state of play? When
they're walking up, right? Yeah.
It seems like the first time you fly, though.
No, it's on the platform, and he's basically standing there, and he does an animation, just sort of appears.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Well, they whip their wand out of like their sleeves in some of the common room ones too.
Yeah.
So fancy.
I was thinking more so maybe Nick was the only one to create the stone because he had ancient magic. Also, if it's got story connections or lore, things like that.
Side quest.
Yeah.
Nightly Nerd will avoid all side quests that involve Harry Potter characters.
Yes.
Ancient magic can
That's
solve
true.
anything. I saw this earlier. Somebody had said because you use ancient magic, maybe going back to the Patronuses, maybe your Patronus is different because of how powerful you are. So you have like a unique one, and that's why you don't even get to choose. That would be a nice little loophole there, where they're not going to let you pick one of the 100 plus, but and they make sense because you're so powerful. You do one kind of unique to yourself. That would work.
I feel like there's definitely gonna be a lot of like because ancient magic moments.
It is. It's a. I mean, the wizarding world in general. I mean, so many things can be explained away by just saying magic, and then you just have to create spells and charms and stuff to match them.
I don't want them to do that because they did enough of that in the Fantastic Beasts franchise, and it wasn't explained in enough detail. With the Harry Potter franchise, magic had meaning. They had specific spells for specific things. I know things were sort of shoehorned in, like the Thestrals were sort of chucked in to be a way of getting to London and that sort of stuff. But like at least it all had meaning and lore within the universe. Whereas with the Fantastic Beasts and that sort of stuff, they've just sort of gone, oh, this is magic. There's a raindrop that brings them into an alternate universe.
Yeah.
I just don't want them to explain stuff like that.
They made a lot of interesting decisions with Fantastic Beasts. I hope they never do again. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Other people agree the hating inventory system. This one's interesting. I hope we can turn off the character speaking the spells. That pronunciation of Accio will drive me batty. I have gone on a controversial, not like rant, but just a statement. I am not a fan of the voice work so far. Now, we haven't gotten much of it, but what we have gotten lacks, anything. It's just very monotone. So I would maybe actually be kind of in this camp of I need to see more. I need to hear them talk more.
Yeah,
at least it's not Stephen Fry's pronunciation of it. Has anyone heard Stephen Fry reading the book?
Yes.
And
I've still
Accio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if the way he says Avada Kedavra as well drives me nuts. Like Avada, but going back to the characters, I always feel in games like this where there are several different people speaking. One of the most recent ones I played was Saints Row, where you get to pick your voice. I always feel when there's not like a main lead, I always do feel the voice actors it does feel a bit off at times, monotone. I'm not always
when
a
you
fan
say
of
Saints
games
Row,
where
you mean the new one?
Voice. Yeah, the new Saints,
I'm so sorry.
I played for about half. I played for 30 minutes. I returned it. Not a great game.
That is a good point, though. When you have, and I mean, some games nail. Well, Mass Effect is probably the one that nails it that I can think of immediately. Both of them, or Jennifer Hale does a really good job too. But yeah, because it's just, and you can understand. I suppose it's more work, and you got to get everybody to. You got to get however many different voices to match. They have to read all the same lines as each other. You just imagine it takes more work, but it does probably lean more towards inconsistent. So that's it's not, and what we've heard has not made me even want to give them the benefit of the doubt either.
I think with the voice acting, it's like, I feel like with a lot of games, when everything's bad, the final product is generally pretty bad. But I know we have some decent voice acting. Like I like the Charms Professor. Okay.
Yes.
So, maybe it's a sign that they know what is good and maybe they just haven't finalized all the voice lines or whatever. Maybe haven't shown us the best stuff. I don't know. It may be good, it may be bad. But with the stuff, when you say the spell, my guess would be when you initially learn a spell, you're going to be saying it. And then once you upgrade it like once or twice, then you stop saying it because you've sort of mastered that spell. And you'd be upgrading spells pretty quickly probably. So you probably wouldn't hear it much.
Right.
It'd just be a thing you're sort of saying at the beginning. But yeah, I don't know.
If you guys don't like the voice acting, you guys never played NBA 2K. It's just you guys never played that. Honestly.
What a comparison.
Yeah,
I can't say I've been annoyed with the voice acting. I've never said I've noticed. I can't say I think I noticed it. It seems good to me. I can't say I've noticed anything.
That's fair. I mean, when I said it, I got pushback that either it's too early to judge because you haven't heard enough of it, or you're not allowed to say anything negative in general. Whatever the case may be, I've heard it, but no, it doesn't sound awful. I just haven't really sensed, specifically from the main character. I think a lot, like what we said before, a lot of the side characters, they all seem kind of fine. The main character, we haven't heard enough and has always seemed very monotone to me.
Are you someone who turns off the voices or who doesn't prefer voices in games? Because I know like some people do and some people don't. You do? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like audio. I turn on subtitles and read as they're talking. So I do both for whatever reason. I like it. The more the merrier. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, that's another thing I'd like. With the subtitles, hearing conversations of people as you go past, you're like having Hogwarts vibrant, alive, hearing everything like that, picking up on little details of the state of the world. I think that's always brilliant in the world building of an open world. I always love hearing stuff like that when you're just walking by.
We get that in one of the trailers, don't we? She said something like, "You're despicable" or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
I think Professor Lynette was right, though. Dropping into her stream the other day, she had said almost all the voices sound the same from what we've heard so far.
He sounds like Harry Potter to me. I don't know. But kind of weird. Yeah. I don't know. Not fully, but
a lot of them sound
British voice.
Let's see. We got Rihanna. She was the one who mentioned the Patronuses early. Do you think we could have the ability to create spells?
No, I'd seriously doubt that. That'd just be insanely complex. I think like maybe the only possibility would be some sort of like story segment where we like, but that'd be insane. I doubt that.
Yeah, I think the ancient magic no one understands, in the trailer where the goblin just gets like obliterated. I think that might be a spell we've created, or it's like an extension of our magic. I think that's as far as it will go in terms of a unique spell we have that no one else has.
Right.
The entire game on 15 minutes, or then after 15 minutes, silence it. Yeah, creating spells is tough. I think there's way too much, and then that does enter like they're just trying to really expand the lore and inject it, which is fine. They want to, like Troy has said before, they want to do new stuff, but I feel like that's taking it a little too far.
Yeah.
How do Italians pronounce it? That'll be the correct one. The music. What do you guys think about? We haven't really talked so much about that. What do you guys think about? And this goes back to the ASMR. That to me is the game's strength in terms of things you actually hear, not the voice actors. But what do you guys think about the music?
Yeah, it's really good. I know, like the one with the staircase, the grand staircase, just complete chills.
Yeah.
Dustin agrees with you. It's the cringiest game for voice acting.
Yeah. Harry Potter, and I think it's always been renowned for its music from the films, the other games. I think that creates the scenes. I think that's what creates a lot of nostalgia for Harry Potter is John Williams' early work, things like that. And yeah, the music for this game so far, I mean, This summer ASMR, the Grand Staircase video, the music's been really, really good so far.
You think each spell would be
cool.
upgraded
Great.
individually? That's a lot of skill micromanagement. I wonder if you would upgrade groupings of spells like charms, transfiguration, etc. Like, well, let me say this really fast. Like God of War. Now I don't know because we haven't played it, but we got from like the reviews. So God of War seems to be doing a thing where they just upgrade everything as you're using it, which is kind of more rare, I would argue, than like an ability tree. But I like the idea. If it's that easy, where the more you use one specific spell, the more that spell upgrades, that would be awesome. I feel like that's a more rare thing, though, where maybe that wouldn't happen.
Yeah. I mean, that might be the ideal situation. I think that'd be really cool because it's sort of more immersive, because the more experience you gain out in the world, the more your skills increase. But I think if it is an upgrade system, I've never even really thought of the categories like that. I'd probably guess it's individual, just because spells are so important. Like something like I don't know, Stupefy spell you're gonna be using all the time, and that's gonna be completely different than another offensive spell that you're gonna be using. So yeah, I don't know. And then you'd be getting new spells. So are those just like automatically upgraded to the level of the category? And then I don't know. Yeah, I don't see that happening, but I don't know.
I want to see someone do an Accio only run on Hogwarts
I
Legacy.
said I want to do a Stupefy only run. That's what I want.
Stupefy only.
Yep.
No spells run.
I think Stupefy is just your basic attack. I don't think that's a special spell. I think that is just literally your trigger. Just pull the trigger, Stupefy. I think that's just your constant spell. And then once you do that a few times, you can then do a more powerful spell. Because if you watch most of the traders, every time they do the Stupefy, it's just like every time they do a single spell, it's just firing off red light. And it just
I definitely think it's gonna be the default attack spell. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Again, it goes back to like the key mapping. Like that's one of the things that's like the biggest questions for me. Like, how are these spells gonna be mapped?
Yeah.
Because is Stupefy gonna be a separate button and it's always Stupefy, and then the other spells are a different key button you can switch? It's just really complex. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go for a Harry Potter run using Expelliarmus only.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect.
I think after looking at like the talents and upgrades section, and I'm trying to pull it up again here on the state of play, but I don't think there's enough upgrades to really like add everything to each spell. Under the 5 card section, there's only like the highest one's 17. So you're telling, and they said dozens of spells.
Yeah.
So if there's gonna be dozens, there's not enough points unless they're really broken up in another section. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to do each one like that.
Yeah, that's a good catch.
And then there's also the core in the menu we saw in the state of play. There's the core upgrades, and those are the talents that improve your overall effectiveness. So maybe there's like upgrades that improve your general spell casting, and then maybe upgrade the spells if you want to get even better in those.
Yeah, I think Andy said last time even something like how it reloads. I don't want to use his literally name, Andy reloads, but the timer that it takes to be able to fire off a spell, that's easily something you could be able to upgrade, so you could just fire it off.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think there'll be sort of elements that you can upgrade. So you could upgrade reload time, or you could upgrade area effect, like size or something on those sort of lines, and like power would be 1, and you'd sort of upgrade it for every single attack that you do, and you could just sort of upgrade basically how powerful all of your spells are, but it would just be specific elements of them. Potentially there could be like poison effects and effects that would come with it, and we see in the inferior things, obviously there's like an area of effect attack, but then there's also an element where the creature bumps into, like an inferior bumps into another inferior, and it then catches them on fire. So there could be like a contagion sort of thing as well.
Yeah. Well, this will be we can do this as the official question. How dark do y'all think the game is going to get? So I guess this kind of goes to, if characters are going to die and whatnot.
The game's going to be dark. I think everything they're showing us is that at least one of the endings is going to be dark. And I know James made a whole video about the 2 endings. If they're going to have multiple games, this was my only thought about it, it's going to be hard for you to really have like a huge Battle of Hogwarts, because then they're going to have to introduce like a whole new villain unless they kind of leave a cliffhanger at the end of the game. So I don't know how much there's actually going to be 2 endings, but the game's going to be dark. I would venture to say.
I mean, I think, I mean, I agree. It's gonna definitely be dark. I mean, we already know of the forbidden, curses. How dark? I don't know, because it's like being there's dark where you're like Sebastian dark, where maybe you're dark for a good reason, and maybe you just like sort of messing with dark magic, and then there's like Voldemort evil. And like, but then would you still be going to Hogwarts, right? Like, I don't know. Like, would you pull a Draco and try to like destroy the castle on the inside? It's just those are big branches that go really far in different directions. So that'd be a lot of work. I don't know.
I don't know how dark it will get. You can make it up in your mind of like, oh, I am the darkest wizard of all time, sort of thing. But I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I don't know if we'll be able to kill everyone, like in the sense of like our companions, kids, everything. Like it's not gonna be full brain like that.
Yeah.
I am not even convinced that we can free cast Avada, but that's just because I need more evidence to be like, is this actually like an option cutscene where it's like, do you cast Avada or do you not, or is it something that I have at my disposal? So I think that for all the people who come into my comments when I'm like being goofy and like, oh yeah, I'm going to do all the Unforgivables, I'm sure that you'll find the light if you want it. But I'm going to temper my own expectations for the darkness in this game.
We got a teen rating, so I think it will go down a dark path. But obviously, there's only so dark you can go. I don't think we're going to have like the beginning of Call of Duty where you're, plowing everyone down. Not this Call of Duty, one of the old ones, where, you're literally destroying everyone in your path. But I think we're going to, potentially have elements of darkness to it. And I think what we've seen in the trailers is a good sort of example of how dark it's going to get. There's going to be sort of horror elements to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued in terms of like the actual villains, how far they'll go in some of their efforts. You do have sort of Voldemort in the Half-Blood Prince onwards, where family members are going missing, deaths everywhere. The world's just not a safe place. But at the same time, you see in the trailer, obviously, Ramrock and Rookwood, they try and go after you. It appears in Hogsmeade in a bright sunny day sort of thing. So yeah, it's sort of a feel like it will get dark probably towards the end. I just don't think like it's obviously got a teen rating, and we will go. I think the teen rating comes from more what we can do to others with the Varkadavra, Crucio, and the things like that. So I don't think it will be as dark as many people are expecting. I do think towards the end, like, well, obviously we're going to see deaths of people where maybe Fig, maybe a friendship, Sebastian, something like that. But yeah, I don't think it'll be as dark as a lot of people are expecting in terms of the actual, the overall darkness of the villains and the combat and things like that. I think that is going to be quite. They're not. It's always hard, obviously, when you have Voldemort or Grindelwald. These guys can't be as bad as that, or you've probably heard about them before. I guess that's the hard thing. Setting this game in 1890, if it was this bad, we'd have heard about it probably in Harry's time or even in Newt's time.
Right. No, that's a fair point. And even to the point of, depending on how bad you go, and if it's only 1 year, I think Lamorak mentioned this, like, at the end of the game, if it's a battle for Hogwarts, like, yeah, you can rebuild. But if you're like full blown, like Dark Wizard evil, would there be a second game where you're in Hogwarts? Would that even make sense? Because you're so bad. So you'd have to like leave school at the end of so you only go for 1 year, but then it's not Hogwarts Legacy anymore. It's the same issue though. If you age out and then you're like in a ministry, could you call it Hogwarts Legacy 2, even though you're not there? The easy way would probably just be you're a teacher at Hogwarts. So that would be that. But yeah, if you go too evil, man, then you'd be kicked out or something, that would hurt the sequel. And I don't like to, bring up the sequel as like the sequel has to stop certain things in the first game, but honestly, it kind of would. Because for a game as important as lore is to it, you got to be careful what you're doing.
I've never thought of the
Yeah.
title as Hogwarts Legacy because we're at Hogwarts. I've always seen it as Hogwarts Legacy because we're learning the story.
Okay,
of
I
Hogwarts.
think that is true, but from like a promotion marketing thing, it's definitely because you're at Hogwarts. I think like like the more hardcore and like the story purposes of what they're telling, it's probably that. But I think for just the normal individual, it's called it because that's where you're. I don't know if you'd be able to call it Hogwarts Legacy 2 and you're not. Imagine just all like the normal people in comments that'd be like, "Where's Hogwarts?" I just think you'd get so much of that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I just think that would happen.
Yeah. On a sequel, I have thought maybe they go down an anthology route. Hogwarts Legacy, we've gone back to 1890 now. Obviously, we've got 1,000 years worth of stories to tell. Triwizard Tournament, people have always been asking about that. Well, you could go to somewhere in the 1600s, make a game about a Triwizard champion. You could go back to being a first student of Salazar Slytherins, of Gryffindors.
So do Red
I feel
Dead,
like that is
basically.
basically,
Red Dead
there is a lot of route where there's an anthology story where you can play as a different character each time, in different periods of Hogwarts.
I don't think anybody's ever said that.
That's interesting.
I like that idea maybe more than any other idea. That fixes all of it. You can do whatever you want then in this game. Doesn't matter. And then, I mean, again, you can't do certain things because, like you said, they would hear about it, or the castle can't like explode. It can't be gone.
No.
So there are certain things. But yeah, if you just left the time period and just went 200 years earlier, or went to if you go to a different school, again, the issue of it's not called Hogwarts.
Not Hogwarts,
But yeah, there's I never thought of that. Not one time.
No, yeah, a lot of people actually, it was mixed reaction actually when I made that video talking about that. A lot of people do want to continue this sort of story with this character they create into the 6th year, into the 7th year. But yeah, I feel like there is a lot of freedom. When we were saying off just before we started about just wanting more games off this, and you can carry on with a Hogwarts sequel, or you can make a different sort of game in a open world sort of magical world where you are in the ministry or something like that. It doesn't have to be a sequel to this specifically.
Yeah, they could even do. I mean, it'd be tough to do Dumbledore, like if you wanted to play as Dumbledore, because then like for a next game. But I mean, that's even anthology route that you could go. Have you guys seen anything that is your top spot to explore in the game? I want to explore underwater things, which we haven't gotten to see, but I will cop out and say that. Or just the common rooms.
Yeah, I think like the dungeons of Hogwarts, they've got to hold quite a lot of secrets. We've like Marauders mentioned earlier in the gameplay, we've seen where they pull like the door back or the portrait back. I feel in the dungeons of Hogwarts, just how big they are. There's got to be so many secrets there. I just want there's so many secrets. That's what I want to explore. Not it's a cop-out answer, but just the secrets of Hogwarts.
Yeah, I think the castle is going to be cool, but the Forbidden Forest and everything right outside, it's going to be something that we haven't seen other than the few snippets of it. So how they can kind of expand on everything outside of the castle, I think is going to be where I want to explore, because even from that little slice of map we've seen, it's going to be huge. I mean, the map's going to be enormous. There's things everywhere, and anything we can really explore is going to be interesting outside of the castle.
Yeah, I think for me, it's going to have to be the most iconic locations. Like, when you first get there and like look up at the castle from like the ground, that's going to be insane. When you go in the Great Hall for the first time, the common rooms, the grand staircase, all of those are going to be like the library even. All of those are going to be the ones that really give me the chills.
So, of course, Hogwarts, I want to find all the secrets, but one of my favorite things about Breath of the Wild is I always tried to make Link climb all the mountains because I'm just like, I want to see like the aerial, or kind of as aerial as I can. Now we have a broom, so that'll be nice as well. But like to get into different spots, in particular from anything we've seen in marketing, the ASMR where there was the little bridge looking thing that looked like Nightmare Before Christmas that was swirly. I need to know, is there anything cool in there? Like that is the thing that caught my eye, that I was like, I don't know what this is, but I need to find out if there's anything magical or special here, because it looks really cool and it's out in the distance and I need to get there.
I echo the secrets of Hogwarts. I want to be able to explore. I want there to be a secret chamber that no one's ever found before. There's going to be secrets. Even students could just, behind any portrait, they could have just, created just like a little Quidditch pitch or something like that. Just something like stupid that students would do that you're just going to find as you go about. This just sort of like minute details that don't have any effect on the gameplay, but just little really cool things that you just see as you go, and just that's really cool.
Yeah, this Hogwarts Legacy to Hogwarts Legends. You could change the last name, and that could maybe
Oh.
you could do that for a sequel. I would approve that. You'd have my seal of approval. A lot of people talking about difference between dark and scary. Talking about Vada Kedavra isn't a bloody kind of thing. A lot of people think so. It seems like the chat, they're in for this game. They want it to be pretty strongly evil. It's part of the fantasy violence. There's no blood. You're able to free cast it. So what do you? I mean, my opinion on that has always kind of been, I think it's going to be locked off to specific times. I don't think you'll be able to just do it.
Yeah. I think Unsung Hero has a good question. Do you think that we'll be able to go to Diagon Alley?
Yes.
Which I have.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, here, let me swap the thing. I would say no. That'll be my start to it.
I don't know. I don't think we'll go to Diagon Alley in the generic way of going to get our school things and that sort of stuff. I think the story will potentially start with us en route to Hogwarts in the carriage with Fig. I think that will be like the beginning of the game. Potentially, we've seen the photos of us getting the wand and that sort of stuff. And I don't really know how it's going to work, although we have seen Ollivanders in Hogsmeade, and we also have seen Gringotts. But I think it's more going to be a mission that would take us there rather than us fully going to Diagon Alley to do our shopping. I think we might go there, but it won't necessarily be the same way that we would expect it to be, as before attending Hogwarts.
I don't think we'll be able to explore Diagon Alley. I actually think the Gringotts thing might be like one of the first missions, and obviously Fig is almost like our Hagrid taking us there, and that's when Ranrock attacks, and that's when he's like, okay, this isn't safe. We, instead of using the Diagon Alley for shopping and stuff, that's when we go to Hogsmeade, and that's where you go to Ollivanders and stuff. So I do feel the start of the game might be the Gringotts area. Stuff happens which forces us away from Diagon Alley to Hogsmeade.
Yeah, if you look at the state of play, there's every time you're in that what I called starter outfit in my most recent video is what I think is going to happen before you get to Hogwarts. And he's in the same outfit you're wearing in the character creator scene. So you're at Gringotts, you're at the mountain side with Fig, and I don't think we'll be able to go to Diagon Alley other than going to Gringotts. And you're probably just going to teleport in there and then out. I think Hogsmeade's going to be the place where you buy everything and have your own shop and stuff like that. And Diagon Alley just seems like it's too big to add when you're adding everything else already.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with Diagon Alley is like I want it so badly. Like it's such an iconic part, and like I'd love to go there and get my school things. Like that would just be incredible. It's just realistically, I don't think we will, just because they haven't shown it. The only hint we've had is that Gringotts is there. It'd be kind of weird to be in Gringotts and not be able to go outside to Diagon Alley because you're like, an inch away, but you can't get there. That'd just be kind of like really painful. I don't think it'll be like a mission thing where we just walk through once, because again, that'd be really painful because you can explore the stores. So I think it'll either be open world, which I don't think it will. I just really want it, or it'll probably, unfortunately, be not at all. I think the reason it's not at all is because if you have Diagon Alley, then you have London. It's like you can't do that. It's too much work. So yeah, and then you'd have to like some sort of like fast travel. But maybe we'll have it. I mean, maybe they're holding off for like a big reveal later on, just sort of like ignite some hype, but I doubt it.
I'll just add to the consensus of no's. I think teleporting might be a way for Gringotts, but I don't think that we'll be able to explore other than whatever we're set to do in Gringotts, and I don't think that we'll be in Diagon Alley for all of the reasons y'all explained.
Yeah. How excited are you to explore the Forbidden Forest and Great Lake, and what do you hope to find there? I just want to be able to swim, to be honest with you. I don't think I care as much about. The Forbidden Forest does look pretty cool, and it really seems like it's going to have pretty strong story / side quests. Like I think we're going to go there quite often. And then as for the Great Lake, I just want to be able to swim.
Yeah, I'm same way. Like I think that I'll jump scare myself, even if it's not scary. I think I'm going to scare myself in the Forbidden Forest. Not that I don't want to explore it, but I am completely with you. I am very curious about the water because there's going to be some good treasure down there, some good loot to grab. So I'm curious about what's at the bottom, and can I search every nook and cranny and see if there's anything or maybe some sort of secret down there for me to grab. But as long as I can swim and breathe underwater, like, sure, take me underwater all day long.
We have in universe explanations as to how we can explore. So Gillyweed or the Bubblehead, like just we could go down there. It would just make sense for us to go down there. So I would like to go down there. I think the Forbidden Forest would probably be more entertaining to explore, just because I think it's going to have more creatures or diversity of things in there. Whereas obviously we have the mer people and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I think the forest to me would be more of a draw than underwater. But then again, if they've sort of nailed the graphics and it looks incredible down there, then maybe it would be nice to see what the mer people live and see if we can get some of their treasure and if the squid's there.
I'm all for swimming. I think that's one of my most anticipated features. I'm hoping for, not just for the lake, but also obviously with these wizarding hamlets, the greater world, obviously up in the Scottish Highlands, where there's lots of fresh bodies of water to explore. I just feel it adds an extra element to gameplay. There's so much more to explore. Going down to the bottom of the Great Lake with the mer people. There's so many secrets down there. Obviously, who knows with giant squid. There's a lot of fun things to be doing like underwater. And yeah, I feel like we've seen the forest a lot in games, in films, in the books. The lake, it's still a mystery. Other than obviously we try to cast that time. So yeah, I'd be really down to explore the lake.
I just wonder if we're actually going to be able to deep dive. I think that's the biggest question for me about this whole thing, because obviously, like I said, exploring outside the castle is the biggest thing for me. But are we going to be able to swim as in skim the surface, or are we actually going to be able to deep dive in? I hope we're going to be able to deep dive, because that would add a lot to it. But if we aren't, I think it's going to be a miss again. But I'm not sure that there's actually going to be true sequels to this game. I think they might just do expansions. So that might come in an expansion where, hey, we can explore the Black Lake now. Hey, we can play Quidditch or XYZ. $30 expansions might get people rather than a whole $60, $70 sequel. Maybe they add years for an expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think with the lake, I think it'd be a good concept if it was like you had to unlock something like Gillyweed to be able to deep dive, and you can't just jump in the lake and hold your breath for 5 minutes and whatever like that, and it might be something like that allows you to unlock new areas of exploration as you progress by unlocking things like Gillyweed to go under. Might add some more replayability and like keep you interested in the game longer periods of time, because there's still things you haven't explored yet, even if you're 5 hours in. So I mean, I think it'd be good. I honestly, I don't really picture it happening just because of how big the lake is and how much, I don't know. I don't picture us swimming around, but it'd be cool. But yeah.
Yeah. Think about the dueling and arenas. What's everyone's thought about it? Rewards, difficulty, tournaments, etc. Yeah, it seems like a pretty big part of the game, even having like part of the DLC or whatever towards it, or whatever you want to call it. And they still haven't really talked too much about it. Although I don't know if you guys are in agreement, it seems like they showed it in the state of play. It seems like that's kind of where you were, at least for part of the combat section of it. So what do you guys think about, well, let me do this. What do you guys think about all the dueling?
Yeah, I mean, I hope it doesn't get too gimmicky. I hope it sort of feels natural and immersive still. Like, yeah. I think it'd be good. I think I think they could really improve the people on the sides, because in that one shot they weren't really looking at us. I think if there's like good crowd reactions, that really adds to the immersion, because it feels like you're like doing it in front of people and sort of like gets the adrenaline pumping. I think, but yeah, I mean, you definitely have to limit the spells you could use so you're not damaging anyone too badly. But yeah, I think dueling could be a really good way to just sort of jump in the game, maybe like after even you finish the story, and sort of just like have some fun without having to like run across the map to who knows where for like 30 minutes. It's just something you could like do over and over and have fun. So yeah, I think duels will be a good feature.
You know, I think the great thing about what it seems like Hogwarts Legacy will be is that for different people, we will gravitate towards different aspects of the game and have a good time. Because I mean, there are so many Hogwarts Legacy content creators. You have us on screen. There are other people in chat. There are so many people covering this game. And our game playthroughs are going to be different depending on how we play games and what we enjoy. So for me personally, dueling is not high up there on the list of things that I necessarily care about. I know that it's like the wizarding world. I should be like dueling at least in class. But for me, the thing I'm most excited about is the Cross Wands Secret Dueling Club. Like, I won't duel like just because, but if there's a secret dueling club, I'm going to find it and see what that's about, because I just like the mystery of it and being like, okay, well, this book is telling me, or at least the promo for this book is telling me something. Let's check it out. Now, unless it has an actual, like, if it's anything that has to do with buffing my character, I will do. Because if there's any sort of, this is like what I typically do with games, is I try to overbuff, and then when I get to boss fights, I'm like, okay, I feel more confident now. Let's do this. But dueling's not that high. Secret dueling, I'm all in for.
I kind of agree with you with that one, to be honest. I like the idea of the dueling club. I think it's going to be more of a completionist type of thing. I think they're adding it so that, you know, if you want to platinum the game, you have to beat everyone in the thing. I think there will be something that you will get that will be really, so you'll probably get a cosmetic. You know, once you beat this person, you'll get this cloak or this piece of clothing or something like that. Or once you beat this people, you might be able to upgrade this spell or something along those sort of lines. But I don't think it's going to be completely important to do it if you don't want to. But I think I probably will, just because I'm a completionist and I'm a sucker for skins. So if they offer a really cool cloak, I'm going to be doing it.
Yeah, I'm the same in terms of completionist. I love just doing everything. I love the competitiveness in stuff like duels, broom races against people from different houses, your house cup, sort of that sort of thing. I don't know, when I'm playing a game, I want to win everything. So yeah, dueling clubs, I would like just things to do, like any sort of clubs really at Hogwarts, just to add a bit of immersion, add a bit of depth, and just I guess it's like a nice break from the actual sort of story dueling, you know, when you're life and death sort of dueling out there against the goblins and the dark wizards. Just a nice little dueling club. Yeah, it's a nice little break of pace, I guess, just to add a bit of difference and variety to Hogwarts life.
I think the dueling club and the battle arena set up an expansion to have multiplayer nicely. I think it's something that, like The Last of Us, could be added later on. And I know we don't know much about factions, and that's a big topic of conversation. But I think adding in that sort of battle arena thing, you could, even if it's co-op, not even necessarily PvP, just you and a friend go in and complete survival stages. So I'm excited about the dueling aspect of it, but like Lynette said, like there are so many of us and so many different styles of people, and people are going to watch me or people are going to watch Alex, and it's anything you want to watch. There's going to be something out there for this game, and that's what makes the community so great.
It's big. There's a lot of people, and you're right. I mean, like, within the first week or two, you're going to see all the different choices of dialogue and all, just everybody doing something slightly different than the next. And it's going to be honestly real. And really, by doing that, you're probably going to see almost the entire game just by watching maybe like 10 to 15 different creators. You'll see. You don't need IGN to do it for you. We'll do it.
So what are your guys like plans for your first playthrough on stream? Like, do you like going with that sort of question? So for me, I think people may get bored with my stream if they want to see the storyline, because most of my stream is going to be me walking around going, "Oh my god, look at that! Oh my god, look at that!" And I think I'm going to get massively distracted by seeing just random elements of Hogwarts that I'm like, "Oh, that's from the Deathly Hallows, and this is what they said there," and I'm probably going to get massively distracted.
I'm so used to playing the Potter games, knowing everything about them. So I mean, my viewers are so used to me literally going up to every little nook and cranny, explaining everything, Potter lore, doing all this exploring. I feel like with a game I don't know, I'm gonna be like the same with you. I'm just gonna be so lost in all. It just like nothing will get done for like the first 5 hours. It'll just be me strolling around going, "Oh my god, look at this!" And it's going to be like a very slow paced walkthrough. Just while I get to grips with just the amazing open world. Yeah, no story missions for the first few hours, just general walking around.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I found out that I am very bad at Lego games, and that's what I've been streaming. And
Wait, is anyone good at Lego games?
man,
Is that a skill? Because I'm also bad. Add me to that group.
Horrible. And I hope I would like to think I've played enough games that I could get through a basic game, but I feel like I need to be a kid. So I hope this is a little bit more upgraded so that the viewers can like what they're watching a little bit more than watching me struggle with a Lego game.
Yeah, I think it definitely won't be like a traditional, like I won't be wanting to entertain too much in a first stream. Like I'll just be playing for like 5 hours and probably barely talking. And like this said, just being like, "Oh my goodness, this is insane," like over and over again. Yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. That first, yeah, it'd be good. But
About you, Lynette? What's your plan for the first day?
Oh, first day. Sorry, I missed the question. I got distracted.
Like
I think all of us got distracted. But first day streaming, I don't know. Like I know for a fact that I'm probably not going to finish the game. There's going to be so many people who finish the game, and I'm going to try to like blinders up, but like, okay, I'm still playing this game, and still, because of all the things that you're saying, everyone's like talking about the details. We've seen a lot of the details, not just like visually, but like the ASMR videos also changed the way I was thinking about Hogwarts Legacy, because I was amazed at just the idea of sitting somewhere, sitting by a waterfall, and just having that be my Zen vibe for a little bit. That's really appealing to me, even though I'm not doing anything. And I probably won't do that on stream. I'll probably try to chat up all the NPCs. I'll figure out who I like and don't like, be sassy to the ones that I don't like, and try to avoid them. Like building my own sort of like meta commentary of like, this is my character and this is what I think about all of these people around me. So I think I'll be very people oriented. And I know that I'm going to hop quest to quest. Like I'm going to pick, basically the first day is going to be me picking up all of the side quests that I find within whatever radius that I explore, and having just a giant list. It'll have to, I need someone to keep me in check and be like, this is what you're doing for today. That's just how it is for me. So if I can theme it, it'll probably just be a lot of exploration and picking up side quests. And then from there, kind of making a plan of like, okay, let's prioritize. This is who I really vibed with. I want to learn more, or I'm going to go find a new area to explore.
Yeah, the live streams, I mean, like I always go back and forth if I even want to live stream. Like the biggest games, the ones that mean the most to me, I don't even know if like I kind of want to just take it in on my own. And
Yeah.
like I think like all of us have kind of said, we're all going to do probably very weird things in just that first day. I don't know if people want to, but maybe they do want to see it because we're all kind of experiencing it. But you know what's odd about this game is there's just so many people that are into it. Everybody will be playing it. I mean, I'm sure people will be watching it when they're not playing it, but everybody else will also be playing it as well. And a lot of people are going to play this game 3 days early. I mean, I've never seen a promotion like that or a marketing ploy really work as well as it has with I mean, it's just we're suckers and they know it and they did it anyway and they could care less. But so many people are going to pay that extra money just for the they didn't have to do anything else. Just 3 days access is all you needed.
Yeah, I think all of us are getting the early access, so everybody watching the streams are probably going to be a very specific category of people who didn't buy early access and don't mind spoilers. I don't know how many of those people there are, but I'm sure
there's so many people that are going to do it that it's not even like special that you have it 3 days early. It's not
right,
even, like,
exactly,
flex because just everybody will have it. But,
I've talked about this recently. A lot of us on this may not get a review code, probably not. But if WB was willing to say, hey, would you pay us $50 to get the game 2 weeks early because you make so much content on the game? Like this, some of us only make content on it. Yes, I would pay an extra $50 to get the game.
I'd pay about 400.
Just so I could have that ready for that first day.
My monthly wages would just be straight in.
Oh my gosh.
Take it. So WB, if you're watching, hit us up. We'll pay extra.
Well, if they do what they did with Gotham for Hogwarts, they were very close to the chest, like way more than I thought they'd be. It's not like a jealousy. I don't care. I got it. I did the Xbox trick where I played it a day early. But there was not many people that got that game in terms of even big content creators. There's the obvious ones, and then 2 or 3 in the couple hundreds of thousands. They were the ones that got it. Nobody else got it. Even Sony is a little bit more like the day before. They'll just give God of War to like 50 people on Twitter and Twitch and all that stuff. Warner Bros. Didn't do that. So we'll see what they do. But again, like, you know, in terms of the early review thing, that'll matter. But the 3 days before, so many people are going to get it that it probably wouldn't matter all that much.
I'm interested to see, though, because so many of the big sites don't want to review it. Because of the whole JK
I'll
thing.
gladly take their code.
I'll gladly take your code. And it's going to be interesting to see how much that whole JK thing, and I don't want to get into it at all, really affects the scores. Because
it will.
I think Wife Wants a Wizard maybe made a video about this. Somebody made a video about this game's going to be the game no one wants, but everyone wants.
Oh yeah, okay. I was going to say, I made a video saying that these sites are just this is going to be the game that they boycott. I fully think sites are just going to say no. Because even people that say they don't want it, they're going to get it anyway because of the hype. I mean, there's so many liars out there, but
I personally think it's going to be one of the biggest games ever.
Same.
Like ever.
Yeah.
I know there's people that are boycotting it, and you know your views on that. I wouldn't suggest getting into in this anyway. But you know, the you know, people are boycotting it for their reasons, and there are so many people that I know that are not into Harry Potter that are so looking forward to this game because the game itself looks good and it looks like a good RPG. And then there's all the people that I know that are so into Harry Potter but are not into gaming that want to play this game because they want to have their Hogwarts story. This game is just, I think, like I said, I think it's just going to wipe the board with most games, and I can't see it being a game that's going to outsell more than this next year.
Agreed. Yeah, I think I said it as long as humanly possible ago that I just think sites in particular, the ones that, you know, want to, and you can boycott literally whatever you want. It's your money. But the sites, you know, they're going to piggyback off of that. I really think they're, you know, making some sort of huge statement. I don't think they realize how big the game is. Like, I just really don't think that. I totally agree. This is like, it's not a GTA. It's not that, but this is one of like those, it shakes the game industry for that month. It sells. It's one of the top sellers at the end of the year. Like a God of War Ragnarok. Like, that's the level that this game is. And I think some people just don't think it'll be there. But it, like you said, there's people that I've seen comments for years, even when the leaks happen, years and years and years of reading the books, and they're going to get the game. They don't even have a console, and they'll find one for the game. You just see it every day. And again, if these sites want to pass on it, there's plenty of us that'll, take the code from them if they want. Kotaku's already done it, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
I would say it's going to be as big as GTA. If you take out
GTA,
the online,
those are
if you
10
take out the
10.
online element of GTA and
Yeah.
just had it as GTA offline,
Yeah.
I think this game would be more anticipated than that.
Right.
And if they potentially
yeah.
did an online version of this game with co-op or something like that later on, that you could just do some sort of elements online, then I think it could potentially rival GTA. But obviously GTA, I think, is a bit of a weird one to compare it to, because GTA has got the online element that most people play the game for. So it's a bit of a weird one to compare it to. But
And like Red Dead always has done like kind of half of what. So like if GTA sells 40 or 50, Red Dead will do 25. I mean, I've always said like 10 million is easy for this game. I really believe that, especially with multi-console. But it could be a game that reaches 15. I mean, like you think of Elden Ring, you just don't get it that often. This could be one of. I mean, if this game sold 15 million, I'd laugh so hard when they just release these million numbers and people are crying about it. Yeah. I'd laugh.
It's like the most viewed video on PlayStation's channel outside of the consoles. Yeah. And I mean, what is it now? Like 20 something million. So,
yeah, let me
past 40 or 50.
Yeah, beat Spider-Man and Spider-Man sold very well, and it was only on PlayStation.
I don't think people realize how hard, if you look up game sales, it is to sell 20 million copies of a game. There's not very many games that have actually done that in the history of video games. There's probably under, 50, 100 games out of how many released in a year. Yeah. So one of those always is Pokemon. They always hit 20 million for some reason out in Japan.
Any Squid game does 20 million. Right, it could be literally anything.
So to say that this game is going to hit 20 plus million, and almost all of us are guaranteeing that, is insane. Like it's going to sell gangbusters, and people don't understand that no matter what your beliefs are. So like you said, your money's your money. Do what you want. I'm going to be playing it.
The other element to it as well is no publicity is bad publicity when it comes to these sorts of things. So the boycott itself is publicity for the game.
Oh, yeah. For every tweet that gets 70,000 likes somehow from Twitter's bots, which I believe. But, every time that happens, you just see either people disagreeing with it or some people agree and whatever. But then you'll just also have people that have never heard about it before. Or you'll see, and I legitimately, this is the last controversial thing I'll say, the people that say, like, I'm going to buy 4 copies just to, like, laugh in your face. That's often a statement that people don't follow through. I can see people buying more than 1 copy of this game.
Yeah, I'm buying more than 1.
I've even I even saw people that said if they had a console, I saw even content creators, they bought it for the console and they also bought it for PC, multiple of them. So I think that's going to happen a ton for Hogwarts.
I'm doing that. I've got the PC version to stream and do all of the YouTube stuff around it, and I've got the PlayStation version that I can just chill, play, and just relax and play through when I want to. I don't have to worry about putting the record on, and because I know even if I didn't go into the game that day thinking, I'm gonna make YouTube content, I know if something really cool happened, I would either be devastated that I wasn't recording it because I'm on the PC, or I would be recording it anyway just in case. So I want to just be able to play the game, so I will be buying 2 copies.
I'd probably do. I'm getting probably the PC and the PlayStation version. I'll probably do my first playthrough on PC and maybe the second one on PlayStation, just to do the exclusive content before next year. But yeah.
I think it really depends on what the cross progression, cross save, if they haven't really talked about it at all. But if the Nintendo Switch version, which is probably Q4 2023, maybe Q1 2024, ever comes out, for me, if I can take my characters and go sit on my couch, or even also for me, if I can take my characters into a modded PC version of the game, that's a huge sale, because I've been a PlayStation person for years, so I'll be playing on PlayStation. But if there's modded things that are cool, I don't know, maybe a GTA character in Hogwarts Legacy, I might go play it and stream it. Who knows? Yeah, PC will have the mods. Switch will have you can take it anywhere. I mean, Switch could just come out a year later and sell like 5 million units. And so there's an extra 5 the game just got. I mean, it's going to do insane. Well,
this seems like a good place to wrap it. So if you guys, we'll go through and kind of say our final goodbyes. But if you guys want to check out any of these creators, and of course we had more of the Avengers of the Hogwarts group in the chat of James or Expecto Go and Retro and Andy. If you guys want to follow any of these people, their links are in the description. They also have Twitters and other social media, but go to their YouTube channel and support them. So we can just, I guess, we'll stay in this order that we're at. But you want to say your final goodbyes to the folks at home?
Okay, well, see you guys. Thank you everyone for coming out, and thank you for inviting me, Alex. This has been good. Yeah, see you guys.
Yeah.
This is so fun because it's great to talk to people in real time rather than like live stream, chat, like that sort of like delay right there. So this was really cool and a lot of fun. I will see y'all every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Pacific time until Hogwarts Legacy comes out to just recap the news and hang out, drink coffee or whatever beverage suits your fancy. I know people are all over the world. But yeah, check me out at Wizard PhD.
Thank you for inviting me. It still blows my mind to be doing discussions with people that I watch on YouTube. I just find it really peculiar, this whole setup, but I'm honored to be part of the Hogwarts Legacy crowd, and it is a great crowd, and we're all really supportive of each other as well, which is really nice. So thank you very much for inviting me, and thank you everyone for having a great discussion, and I will be back on YouTube very, very soon. So if you want to head on over, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on first, Alex. But yeah, thanks to you guys for watching and all the great questions. It's been really fun seeing all these guys. Obviously, you speak on Twitter, you speak on YouTube. It's weird having a conversation face to face. Well, almost face to face. But yeah, yeah. If you want to come if you're interested in the Harry Potter games or any features, obviously do come check my channel out. Half-Blood Prince, the walkthrough for that should be up in the next few days. Yeah, if you like that game, probably not many people, come check it out.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I mean, everyone said it so far, but I started my channel in April as a passion project just to talk about video games that I love and Harry Potter. And it's a dream right now talking to people that I've watched. I mean, Alex, I've watched you for a while, and
Thank you.
the rest of you guys, I mean, you click search Hogwarts Legacy, all your guys' videos pop up. So it's just an honor to be here. But if you're interested in God of War, Wednesday, I'll be streaming that thing probably 4 or 5 days straight to beat it. So come check it out. We'll hang out. We'll probably have God of War videos.
If I do a stream, let me know if you want to be on, because I'll invite you on. We do a God of War thing. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, amazing group of people. I say it every time, and I really do mean it. I mean, to touch on the controversy, but to use it in a positive way. You know, oftentimes people that are against it, all of us are certain words, you know, if we like it. But honestly, if you actually, you know, take the blindfolds off and go in, it's an incredible group of people, diverse. I mean, you got literally everything you could need in this community of just really nice people and in the chat. And we all kind of share the same community, but it's a huge community. And so very special. It's a very special group of people that the ones that are against it don't even give it a chance. And that's, you know, I'm the pioneer of attacking those people, and I'll continue to be the one on YouTube to call them out. And I'll take those arrows for everybody else. But thank you all for being here, this panel. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the people afterwards. You guys all rock. We'll be doing this again. You know, I want to have... StreamYard doesn't let you have however many creators I've had on all at once. So we're going to probably have to separate still going forward. But I'd love to do this again with you guys, and we'll mix and match other creators. And if I missed anybody, I tried to get, you know, anybody that popped up that was a little bit smaller. I tried to get them. So if you guys want anybody else, let me know, and we'll do stuff in the future. So thank you all for watching. We'll see you all on the next one. Nice.